I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my bones as in desert crumbs flow. I'm gonna turn all of my stones.
Rock bottom make a man and some pressure make a gemstone. Try to put $1 to my name like Creflo. Niger boy, late to the game, it's in the blood flow. And I'm from the south, it's thick skin and tough bone. Big attitude through big lips with gusto. Trust no kings, that's why they tried to crush souls. But it's IGBO, when the dust blow, this old head be standing there. No silver, just gold. Crack no books on the hustle, I was born to grind. Yo, scared of your potential, I'm adorned with mine. 30 times around the sun, man, of course I shine. My legacy will not dwarf with time. And in my daughter's eyes, it's basic, I must not say quit. Every day sees a present like a Rob St. Nick. Walk a fine line between tenacious and patient. I can't slip, I'm fighting clocks and they can't win.
I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my wounds as in desert crumbs flow. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Who that soldier in the mirror? Oh, oh. I'm gonna turn all of my stones.
Impeccably I flow, hardest raps you know, breaking status quo, reaping what I sow, artistry like Van Gogh. Get it from my mama, hip so thick that I need tempo. Personality spicy, body banging like a bongo. Cause black women been it since Timbuktu since Pharaoh. Sponge rollers and hot combs, lips, cheeks and brow bones. If you ain't for the culture, then please stay out of my zone. These little dummy rappers could never grace like headphones. See, I'm from a place in space where ain't no storytelling, you just had to have been there. If you want the battle, ain't no problem, say where. I got so much experience, I can't even play fair. But I'ma keep evolving and growing and hurting feelings and showing. You need endurance to go in, I got mileage on this pen. I've been busy cause I've been out here schooling all these kids. Took 3 decades to have this glow up that I did.
I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my wounds as in desert crumbs flow. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Who that soldier in the mirror? Oh, oh. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. Turn all of my
testing shoes last night to see if he was barefoot. Is that still the case? Is he barefoot? Because I know on Facebook somebody posted a picture of these could be his shoes, or is that so he is presumed to be barefoot at this point?
What I can say is that his mom says all of his shoes are accounted for at the house. I'm not going to say that he's barefoot.
All right.
Allegedly! Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. Here's a brief disclaimer for tonight's show. Let's watch.
That's ignorant! Allegedly, that's ignorant! Ignorant.
Judgment, Alistair.
Chloe, you read my thoughts. You've got the shinin.
You mean shining?
Shh! You wanna get sued?
Judgment, Alistair.
You just use that shin of yours to call me and I'll come a running. But don't be reading my mind between 4 and 5. That's Willie time.
Hey, yo, boss. I love it when he does that.
Let's watch.
Don't get me back to good bullshit.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. It's so good to be with you all today on this Thursday afternoon. Thank you all so much for being here. Hey Witchy Mama, good to see you. I've been kind of saying hello to everyone as you guys are coming in today. We have a couple of updates on some of the cases that we were kind of covering on the side of Sebastian Rogers case. And I was thinking today about this clue. You know, what clue are they looking for? Is there a final straw that's going to break the camel's back, so to speak, in the Sebastian Rogers case? And what might they be looking for? So I kind of wanted to theorize with all of you all, because I know a lot of people have been theorizing too throughout the week while I was in Tennessee as well. So there was a lot going on with Sebastian's case, and a rejuvenation of people talking about his case. So I know that there's been a lot of word on the street that I'm just not totally caught up with yet. And I do try to figure out what everybody else is talking about. I like to hear different perspectives, and there's so many good creators, like I was saying yesterday, that really like to, find the facts, or, they're searching for answers at the very least, right? And so we're theorizing all the time, and I just love hearing everyone's thoughts about the cases. That's why, as long as it's positive, I don't mind you guys talking about other creators in the chat, because the other creators are working hard and they have research that they do, but then they also have people that send them research. So if we all put it together, I think that's better than working independently or separately. Not everybody's going to see eye to eye, but I think it's valuable to watch and listen to other perspectives. So glad to have that here. And so good to see you, Lyndon Nunley. Thanks for being here. Hey, KJ, I watched you on the replay. Great job on your new lives. I'm so happy that you're able to go live finally. So that's great. And Sandy is here. Hey, Sandy, good to see you. And I did get some rest, Sandy. I did. I know I want to do 2 shows a week throughout this month. Because I'm going to have a little bit more downtime in May, in the beginning of May, when I go to see my daughter. She is graduating from, well, I won't say the university because there's too many crazy people out here on these streets, but she is graduating with her master's degree. So I'm super proud of her, and I can't wait to hug her and kiss her face. I miss her so much. I haven't seen her since I moved. Right before I moved, we had like a brunch together, and I just miss her terribly, and I cannot wait to go see her. So that's going to happen, and I'll have a little bit of downtime. The good news is I will be traveling through Nashville again. So Nashville, here I come. So yeah, I'm excited though. Either way, we'll still be doing 2 lives a day, and I really enjoy getting together with you guys, the day people too, or the early birds, so to speak. And Cinderella, so good to see you. Hey, Faye, good to see you. Lisa B, good to see you. Thanks so much for being here. And Kimberly says, I've been thinking about this case every day, and I've been wondering, the trip to Dara's, right? Dara Neville's is one of their friends, right? Or I think it's just Neville, um, Dara Neville, to visit her one more time. Why, if you planned on unaliving Sebastian, why would you buy him shoes and then the haircut? So it does appear that there was a haircut, um, or at the very least, Sebastian styled his hair differently. Um, I don't know if they have confirmed any of that, even at night, because I would take them confirming those details. um I know before my trip they were talking about putting out some more details. Hold on a second, guys. Okay, sorry, it's hard to do a day show. So with Dara's, these are my thoughts, because we have, this full day that we know is planned. We know it's been very planned out, to kind of go to BJ's, pick up the niece, and excuse me, pick up the niece and then go to BJ's. And it's really designed, in my opinion, to stay on camera or to stay around people who can build an alibi, right? So they're around people, they're going to public places throughout the day. And then we stop at the bowling alley because they were supposed to go bowling, but they weren't able to go bowling. They had to um, opt out of bowling because they had leagues there and it was just crowded and they didn't have any lanes available. So something new that came out was that they stayed at the bowling alley for 10 minutes. And we were always told that instead of going bowling, they went ahead and played some arcade games. Let me see if I can't pull up Strike and Spare is what it's called. So Strike and Spare is in Hendersonville, Tennessee. It's an indoor amusement park. It's not just a bowling alley, guys. Because I know a lot of us probably thought in the beginning until we saw the pictures that it was just a bowling alley. And we're all kind of familiar with bowling alleys, especially, I mean, growing up, we used to do that after our dances. We'd go cosmic bowling. Was a tradition that our friends would do. So this is Welcome to Strike and Spare, excuse me. Uh, Circus World, right? Conway's Bar and Grill. They have a place to eat inside here, guys. So why'd they go to the Texas Roadhouse? Sebastian doesn't even like red meat. Yet they had to go to the Texas Roadhouse for what? That's always been weird to me. Always been weird to me because they have a full menu here with really, it looks like pretty good food over here and plenty to do that they could have, easily instead of going to Texas Roadhouse where Sebastian was denied to play the game on the table, right? They could have had a fun day. It could have been like, okay, yeah, we can't go bowling, and I know that sucks, but let's do something fun, right? Let's go do any of these fun activities, and I'm going to show you what they got. So this is like the big ass seating area, right? They have all kinds of goodies that you can buy and eat, so you don't have to leave. Right? They could have done bouncing. I don't know if Sebastian enjoyed doing this. I myself, honestly, I wouldn't want to do this. Okay. This doesn't look fun for me, but it could be fun for Sebastian. We don't know. We don't know everything that he would have chosen to do or like to do here. We know he likes to go bowling. We've heard that. We've heard that. And Sandy says, has anyone heard about the email that was received from Brandon Carter? They don't give a shit about this case or Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, say his name. Yeah, okay, so I did not get a chance to watch that or listen or read the email myself. So feel free to tell us kind of the general gist of it. I just don't think these guys are using their noggins. I mean, I hate to say it like that because obviously I'm not a detective. I didn't go to, school for anything related to law enforcement. But I had to become an investigator during my time on this planet, right? Because I had to look into stuff. But that's really neither here nor there. The problem that I'm seeing in Sebastian's case is the lack of effort, the lack of transparency, and the lack of really getting down to who could have done this in the beginning, gathering that information up, and instead they decided that it really didn't matter. So I could absolutely see how this would be frustrating to everyone involved. And Lisa, I think that there could be arrests this year. I've been under the uh assumption or feeling that, you know, there's a strong possibility that they could any day arrest Chris or Katie. I mean, I've been waiting for it. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for it, and it still hasn't happened. And so that's part of my frustration is because I think that I mean it's long overdue. Just watching Katie's actions and watching her interview again, I couldn't stomach sitting across from her and having her lie to my face like that. And then, if I was Holly Thompson, and then, acting like everything was all good. I just couldn't do that. So, so, um, That's kind of where I'm at with that. I mean, I think that they should be arrested today. I think they had everything to do with Sebastian's disappearance, and that's Chris and Katie, because I think that something was planned out, and I think it was planned for a while, because all of this stuff is a ruse. All of this, because they could have chilled over here and had a good time, and then they could have went home from here. Right? So what? You didn't get to go bowling. Yeah, that would have been Sebastian's first choice, but there was tons of other things they could do. I mean, he could have played games, turned in his tickets, picked some prizes. I know that might be a little bit more juvenile for younger kids, but I guess this is Conway Twitty's Bar and Grill. I mean, we have this for little ones. Obviously, Sebastian probably wouldn't have enjoyed that as much. But there's plenty of other things they could do. And Katie said they did decide to go play games instead of bowling, but we find out that they only stayed for 10 minutes. There's a friggin' indoor skating rink. Indoor skating rink. Again, I don't know if that's something that Sebastian would want to do instead of bowling. I'm sure he was disappointed, right? But again, they could have chose something different. Or you go home and you order a pizza and call it good. Watch, you know, a movie. Wind down for the day. That was a long day. So these are hoverboard or hovercrafts or whatever in there. I don't know what they're called. But yeah, look, they have a little skating rink in there. I mean, all kinds of things to do. Now this is the arcade, and this is what they said they did instead. So, but we find out they didn't. We find out that they did not do that. We find out that that's a lie. So, but there's all kinds of things they could have done to have a good time. And instead they went to the Texas Roadhouse. Faces, I wonder at what point on the way to Memphis, Chris with Danny stopped to help that lady with the car problem. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's another thing that has been like an odd detail that has been added in to the equation, and it does make people wonder. Hello, Mama. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. I'm just catching up here on the comments. And hello, Peace, Love, Jeeps. Good to see you. Hey, Jelly Bee. Good to see you. And Bliss Blessings is here. Oh, I love seeing the day crowd. Kimberly says, thanks, Lisa Boo. I believe he fought for his life also. I wonder why they did a trial run. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what could have happened. Thank you, Faye. Um, I don't know what could have happened from the time that they got home to the Texas Roadhouse, but I do believe it's planned, and I've believed that for a long time. Um, I have. Thank you, Bliss. Thank you so much. Bliss says at night never released the bowling alley video either, and they said it was a 10-minute clip. I know, and see, and that was when I was like, okay, so the real Dog the Bounty Hunter did not come into my chat. Now, whether he was in Jay's chat the other night, I'm not sure. But I don't believe that he was in mine. I think that was Nick the Hat. And I think he was, Underdog's account. Because that night, Underdog's account, they were promising they were going to release that. They were like, it's going to come out and you guys are going to be able to see it. And I'm not even as much interested in seeing it, but just knowing what time they were there from. Like, did they arrive at 3 o'clock and then, 3:10 they left? Or did they arrive like right before they went to the Texas Roadhouse and Katie knew there were leagues going or whatever? But when we were doing research, I mean, it didn't seem like there were leagues going. So, I mean, there might not have been, it might just been crowded. It might have just been a popular day to go. So I just think it's all wrong, Hey Narita, good to see you. Hello, Nani McPoppins, good to have you. Oh no, you haven't missed much at all. Hey, Chuchi, good to see you, Chuchi. And they know what happened that day. Yeah, I think they do. I think they know. Um, but and the thing is about the police is they haven't been the ones to hide it from us. Chris and Katie have been coming out and doing interviews, and they're the ones that spoon fed us a narrative about what happened, right? And little by little, Katie was giving more and more details, but she was still leaving out major details, and we all knew that. We picked up on it right away. This wasn't something that, was, how do I say it? It's like they thought they were fooling us, but they really weren't fooling us. And then they got upset with us because we didn't believe them. But it was because their story is not believable, right? So what clue could law enforcement be waiting for? What are they looking for? What's the smoking gun? Because that's what it sounds like to me. When they say we need one clue, that sounds to me like they're waiting on a smoking gun. So, what's the smoking gun? I personally get so overwhelmed in Texas Roadhouse because it's so loud. Yeah, it is very loud, Bliss. I mean, I had to shut the music off of my video because like we parked kind of far away from the building and you could still hear it clear as day. And it was loud on my video. So yeah, I mean, I feel that it is loud and it's kind of sometimes hard to hear each other when you're sitting at the table. He had such a stimulating day already, and then to end it at the Texas Roadhouse. Yeah, and I mean, especially if things didn't go as planned. But I will say that Sebastian seemed like he was in a very good headspace. At least he was calm. And I think it's weird because, I mean, but obviously, well, I'll just say maybe it's not weird if he had enough time to cool down because we always had the impression that, they had went straight away from Strike and Spare to Texas Roadhouse. So, and I mean, I think it's important to know what time they arrived at the Strike and Spare because it's like, okay, well, how late would they have stayed out if they did get to go bowling? Would that have put them at the Texas Roadhouse at 7 or 8 o'clock at night eating dinner on a Sunday on a school night? I mean, he's 15 at the time. So, I mean, I wouldn't think it would be terrible to have maybe a 10 o'clock bedtime. But I mean, it just kind of depends on the kid. Sometimes kids are hard to wake up in the morning, you know, if they don't get enough sleep. But then we hear that Sebastian was having trouble sleeping and he was taking a sleep aid. So, I mean, did that put a damper in their time frame? But at the end of the day, I just don't think that it matters. I think this was premeditated. I think they did a good job of planning it out. Otherwise, the police wouldn't still be looking for the clue after 2 years, right? They need to get a friggin' clue, but they wouldn't be looking for the smoking gun, so to speak. The last piece of the puzzle is Sebastian Rogers' location. Lisa, I've thought about that as well. I've thought about that as well. But then I've also thought about how I'm trying to think of who came out and said it. Maybe you guys know or can help me out, or it might just pop in. But didn't someone say that that Sebastian was somewhere where they would never find him? Someone in law enforcement say that. I can't remember if that was verified or if that's just something I heard, through the grapevine. So, Deanna D, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Kimberly said, "Oh, are you okay, Bagel? You okay, bud?" He's coughing. Um, Kimberly says, "Oh yes, did CP and Nina have their custody case?" Well, and that was in the mix as well. That was a big one in the mix. Hey Seth, good to see ya. Thanks for being here. Didn't know I bring all of the drama. Are you on the dark triad and we didn't know it yet, Seth? Because we can't have any dark triads in here. Aw, that's sweet. Chuchi. He's a pain in the butt, is what it is. No, I'm just kidding. Um, what drama is that, Seth? Oh gosh, you guys are silly. Nani says the fact that they didn't stay and let Sebastian at least play games, but since KP didn't let him play it, makes me feel like the stop was to add to KP's alibi and or give the impression she's a good mom. Well, and I think it could be a little bit of both, Nani. I mean, when it comes to Katie building that alibi, she sure did seem like she wanted to be around people or be seen places, right? I mean, just that full day. And why would you wait to do everything on Sunday? That was kind of always weird too, because all they did on Saturday was go to Costco, allegedly, right? I mean, I don't know. Maybe they did some stuff on Saturday that we don't know about. But why wouldn't they do the fun stuff on a Saturday and then have Sunday, I mean, not to sound cliche, but be a day of rest, chill at the house. If BJ's had the grand opening on Sunday, maybe just go do that, but maybe don't do everything they did that day. But there's definite holes in the time frame, So hey, Poppy Love, good to see ya. Thank you for being here. And Bobby Brutzman says, my grandson is nonverbal, but when we lay down and he slaps his hands together, it's a time to pray for Sebastian. Oh, how sweet, Bobby. That is so sweet. Aw, that is wonderful. Aw. Hey, we can all pray. We can all pray. No matter whether we're verbal or not, right? Because the Lord can hear us. So, that's so sweet, Bobby. You're gonna make me cry with that. That's a beautiful thing. Mexican Coke 77. Thank you so much for your 9.99 super chat. And says, Lady Freedom, thanks for all you do. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. Thank you so much. That reminds me of Chris when you say the Mexican Coke. Hillbilly says that was Brandon Carter, I believe, that said that. Okay, so that's what I was wondering. I was wondering that too because I thought it was an LE. I thought maybe it was who I was getting it mixed up with was like Chris Carr saying it's so bad, it's so bad. So I didn't know if that was part of that. So thank you, Hillbilly. I appreciate that. It sealed the case with them. Yeah, yeah. Well, and the fact that they didn't even let him play the games, or excuse me, that she did not even let him play the games at the Texas Roadhouse, but then he didn't get to do the bowling. So it just seemed, I don't know, Katie seems very cold, and I don't know. As a mom, I'm just not used to that. I maybe our personalities are just different. What is the Cajun Navy that said something about Sebastian could be? Um, well, the last thing they came out and said, not publicly, but they did say it, was that, there's people that don't want Sebastian to be found, in law enforcement. And I think he was absolutely referring to Katie as well, based on the statement, that was read off. Brandon Carter said where Sebastian went, he would never be back. Yeah, and see, I heard that, and I didn't know who exactly said it, or if it was hearsay, hearsay. Like he said it to someone, somebody else said it, relayed the information. The last piece of the puzzle will be Sebastian go to Craddock's office and say, I'm found. Yeah, right. I mean, Faye, it doesn't seem like they're really even looking, I mean, And there's not a lot going on around out at the courthouse, right? And I mean, there was court, you could tell there were people that were coming in and out, but it wasn't like super duper busy or anything. It's not like say court in, the Chicagoland area. We'll just put it that way, because there's people standing outside the door, for a mile, waiting to get into the building because there's metal detectors and stuff. So, um yeah. Yeah, see, I want to know where he said it too, or and when, where it was said and when, because I remember hearing that, and it was a while back. Um, I think we really need to get all these pieces together, because even with the shoes the other day, I was like, I can't believe I didn't remember that interview you did with Josh and Tony, where you said about the boots being by the door. So, yes, Bobby, I'm doing some day shows. Yes, yes. And I'm so excited to be here. That quote was on Crime Time Buzz just in the last couple days. I believe she had a source locally. Okay, Deanna. All right. So what you guys are telling me is I have to catch up over on Crime Time Buzz. I gotcha. Okay, so I've never heard that before. When did he say that? I know. See, this is why I know some people um have. Some people have. Yeah, and they did. The umbrellas were great, weren't they, Seth? And then they auctioned off a couple of them too, which was really sweet, because that's nice. People take them home and then they can use them. I thought he said that in the very beginning. Hmm. Yeah, Seth says he doesn't remember that being said. Okay. Thanks, Nani. Yeah, they did. They turned out great. I have a picture of the one that we gave Seth from our channel too. I have to get it up, put it up there. But somebody sent me a news article today, which was great. They just got Sebastian's birth, or not his birthday, his age wrong, and I was like, damn it. I mean, we're always looking for those little things, right? But um, yeah, Sandy, that's what I heard Chris Carr had said. But again, that was like people had heard him say it and then they said it, they relayed it over. So I was always like, well, I wonder what was actually said, what was, what the context was, because I'm big on context. Because he could have said, this is so, so sad. I mean, he would have been correct, right? I mean, absolutely, this is so, so sad. I mean, that's his neighborhood. He lives there. So I can see him saying, oh my God, this is so bad. This is so sad. This is awful. Any of those variations. But that doesn't mean that he had guilty knowledge. I mean, again, I don't know exactly who all was involved here, but I know it couldn't have only been Katie on her own. You know, it just, there's not enough time. There's not enough time for that. So, and I mean, people saw her coming out, because some people could say, well, maybe Katie drove the car into the garage, or maybe somebody else drove her car into the garage. Um, but again, Katie came out of her house. She was looking for Sebastian. The neighbors were outside. Everybody, it was school time. It was time for kids to be getting on the bus. As a matter of fact, we had one bus that came in to pick up students, and that was at 6:20. And this is the picture courtesy Mob Crew. And I keep it in my back office here, because to show you guys, because it's still very relevant and important. It just is, to this day, talking about it, because this is part of the puzzle. 6:20, the bus is rolling through. That's about the time Katie's out in the neighborhood, you know, asking around, Sebastian, Sebastian, looking for him, right? That would be normal, in my opinion. If he's not in the house, did he go outside? Then you start looking outside. Then your neighbors are outside. Hey, have you seen Sebastian? I can't find him. I went to wake him up. He wasn't there. That sort of thing. So, okay, so Justin had it on his too. I need to go back through Justin's lives. Okay, thanks, Catherine. Thank you. So there's a couple of different, because I know Justin was talking to Brandon Carter as well. Like he was getting a response. We'll just say that. I'm not saying they were talking, but they were definitely, there was responses. And thank you, Witchy Mama. Thank you. I do have, while we have 58 in here, I want to do this too. We've been talking about Haley Busby. Her father and mother and family have been working on Haley's Law, right? And I want to share her change.org petition, and I would really love for you guys to sign it, because it's got some wonderful information. She was lured offline by a predator who was preying on her for over a year. And so they have this initiative that they're running for a pink alert, and that is going to be for everyone who is here we go. That's going to be for everyone who's not a silver alert or a regular amber alert, right? So I think that that is so important, guys. Go check it out. Um, Sign up for it. Share it out, please, because um, she should never have to lose her life in vain. Um, and this would really push to have more um, awareness in schools for kids. So I want to just put that out there. Um, yeah, because Seth doesn't work with CTB. Yeah, I know, and so that's what's hard. I know she said she got a reply back from Carter. I'm interested to hear what he said. Um, Oh, hey Valerie, wonderful. Well, thank you. Oh, I love Betty, guys. Watching Betty in her advocacy was amazing. Just to see her in action. She wore me out though. I was like, how do you have all this energy? I told her. But yeah, she's amazing. She did a wonderful job. So thank you for being here, Valerie. Thank you. Yeah, he lives behind the Proudfoots. Yeah. And when I went there during the day, the neighborhood, I saw the house and everything. He also has a camper, like, or a fifth wheel. Um, so, oh, Mama, I hope your appointment goes well. I keep on asking, how does Brandon know that? I mean, I exactly. Well, and why would he say that to anyone if he did know that? Like, if that was something that he was thinking for himself, why would he? Yeah, I don't know. Sadly, some creators share things they've heard, and we have to realize those are not facts, in my opinion. Peace, love, Jeeps. I agree with that. Um, you know, I will say when I've spoken to people, they'll say, Lady Freedom, I do want to tell you something. And I don't want to say who it is, because it doesn't have to do with Sebastian. But they've said, look, I have something to tell you, but I don't want you sharing it with your audience, right? Maybe just not yet. And that's always hard for me, but because I do want to bring you guys as much information as I can, but I also realize that there are just some things that maybe somebody wants to share with me and doesn't want me sharing with everyone. So I keep that um very close to me, right? I'm like, okay, that's going in the vault, right? Um and so yeah, I mean, I would think as a law enforcement officer, that would be taking a huge risk, for one. For two, I mean, a lot of that stuff is not for public consumption, especially when it could jeopardize the investigation. I'm not saying anybody's done that, but I mean, that's the result of doing that, especially when. Now, if it was something really big, like where, say I was talking to, for example, Katie, and she tells me, I did something to my son, or I have him here. I put him over here in the school, and I didn't think it was going to get this big and out of hand. And I would tell law enforcement, I wouldn't run and tell you guys. So, you know, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. Hello, Miss Thornton. Good to see you. Or Mrs. Thornton. Grateful for all of the Army. Voices matter. Victims matter. We need justice. That's right, Valerie. That's right. That's what it's all about, right? And, it's like any of us, any of our kids, any of our loved ones, our friends, if something happened, we would want people to gather together and fight for justice. Um, yeah, yeah, I agree. I understand that too. Seth says if I'm not in their chats, then I wouldn't trust their info at face value. Just saying I don't have time for misinformation. Yeah, and I think they really need to be sending that info right over to you. Because whenever I get info, I'll just send it over to wearesebastiansarmy@gmail.com, no apostrophe. And that's a good place to send information. So cases and cues says, um, it would be nice if there was an actual timeline of facts, but facts only. Boom. I think that would be a start, right? I really do. I think that would be a start. And in my brain, I like to think I've got like a mental checklist. But it's hard, right? It's difficult because some of this stuff has not been verified, um, really at all. So I think it's important for us to remember that, as we navigate through. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't times where someone would ask a question to, for example, Brandon Carter, and he wouldn't, he would respond back in a certain way, and then there you go. But yeah, it's difficult because we do need facts. We need facts, and I would have liked for the police to come out with some sort of a timeline for us, especially because of what we're going to talk about here in this article. Hello, Laura. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. So, did Chris Carr have video he turned in, or was it not working, or do we know? I heard he had video and it was not turned in because I heard he had some pretty sophisticated equipment that he was using in terms of surveillance. And hello, Adis. Good to see you. Chris and Katie didn't count on Seth fighting as hard as he did to try and find his son. And they didn't think that millions of people around the world would care so much about Sebastian, in my opinion. I believe that too. I believe that too. Yeah, I think they underestimated everything. And I think that was one of their big mistakes. They thought if we say he ran away, then they're just going to look at Sebastian as a runaway. And obviously the police issuing an Amber Alert on day 2, well, the very next day, so that would be 2, says that they thought that Sebastian was endangered, right? Because there's certain criteria that has to be met, and that's why with Haley's petition, they're asking for this pink alert to go out if the person doesn't fit the criteria of an amber or a silver alert, right? Because you do have to fit a certain criteria in order for there to be that alert issued. And the endangered part for Sebastian is why I believe that was issued. So it's been said he refused, but who knows? Well, if they even asked, I mean, that's what I heard too. And I agree with that, Sandy, and I don't know what the relationship with Mr. Carr and Katie is other than their Facebook friends. I know that for sure because I have a screenshot. I know that they're all friends with Terry Lynn. I know they're all friends with that Lego Diego dog handler person. They're all friends. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody calls you friend, So I think Betty was doing good with her binder of info. Oh yeah. Oh, definitely, Catherine. She was very prepared. She was ready, Her binder was fantastic, Sandy. Yes. Yeah. Yep. The binder was it, right? Because that's showing, hey, I've done my research, I got all of these, and and when somebody can hand you that, that is fantastic. Hello, Kylie's nail candy. It's wonderful. I mean, it's like when I took on Crystal McCrory Jones's case, her sister Jana gave me a binder of information. Basically, it was digital, but it was every bit of information that I would have had to go digging for, and then some, right? And then what I did was go on the back end of things and start looking into people, who were involved, and I was able to do more of a deep dive there for her and push some information her way. But I mean, I felt like when I got that information, I felt like she was giving me an entire case file on her sister. I mean, she gave me everything that I needed to present her sister's case with facts, right? And I'm talking about coroner's reports. I'm talking about the medical examiner report. I'm talking about the police reports. I'm talking about audio when she went to go meet with the chief. All of that was given to me in order to cover her sister's case. That is the binder, right? That is the holy grail of what we need to be looking at. So, I mean, yeah, stellar job there. And that's what we need in Sebastian's case. So yeah, big shout out to Bullhorn Betty. Like I said, just watching her in action. Um, why back when was there not a voice for a Ring doorbell that we have heard them? Well, here's the thing. It would have picked up because those Ring bells are, you can hear the cars whizzing by. So there's definitely audio. Definitely audio. And thank you, Mama, for the green hearts. It's a narcissist thing. Uh, they are so full of themselves. Oh, big time, Faye. Big time. I agree. So, yeah, everybody's a suspect at this point. Seth, I agree. Seth says, I don't know any of them. So they're all suspect to me. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's weird that they're all friendly. That's one thing that was weird, in my opinion. So, yeah, I think that Chris's mom is a big piece to this. If not her influence and her you know, knowing people in the area, um she holds a lot of weight in this situation. No doubt about it. Um no doubt about it. So I want to go to this news article. Now, this news article is from Hendersonville Standard. Give me a second. And this is going to be from The Gathering. And they did, someone sent this to me this morning, and I appreciate it so much. It was nice to see everybody's smiling faces that was there, right? Just awesome people here, guys. Let me make sure you all could see that. Great. And so this is at the main event. It was chilly that morning, so we're all bundled up. And I want to read this to you guys. And there's Sebastian. And those are the umbrellas, too, that everybody was talking about. Really great job. I need to get the link. I need to get the link for it. And so I can share it, because those are cute little gifts that people can get. Just put a picture, pick whatever picture you'd like. You put it on the umbrella and they'll make it for you. So February 26, 2026 marked the 2-year anniversary of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers' disappearance from his Hendersonville home from his home in Hendersonville. Last week, the Sumner County Sheriff's Office released a statement that the investigation into Sebastian Rogers' disappearance remains active and ongoing. Okay, and that's something that we've heard over and over again. Active and ongoing, active and ongoing, active and ongoing, right? So, but actions speak louder than words. So I think the reason why it's hard for us to believe that it's active and ongoing is because we're not seeing any movement. But I guess it's good to know that they're not saying, well, we closed it or it's cold case. Although if they closed Sebastian's case, we would be able to FOIA information that we can't FOIA now. So, and we've talked about that before, but I just kind of wanted to put that into perspective. So they go on to say, as we mark this difficult anniversary, we assure the public that Sebastian has not been forgotten. The sheriff's office said in a statement, we remain committed as we continue to seek answers. Our focus remains where it always has been, finding Sebastian and delivering truth and accountability through facts, not noise. So who has been held accountable, though? And when did you deliver truth? Because the only things that you have said to us is that you don't know what you don't know. Quoting Craddock, we don't know what we don't know. And he is referring to himself and his department. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know. Okay, well, if you don't know, then how can you tell us that you're giving us truth or facts? I've never once seen a timeline like you guys are talking about of just facts that I can get up here and discuss with you all. Because if I had that, you best believe we'd be up here talking about it all the time. And I'd push that narrative every single time I got up here. Sure, we can speculate, but if the police were to give us facts, I would stick to the facts. But the fact of the matter is that we don't have that. What we have is a bunch of malarkey that Katie's been pushing and Chris has been pushing out on YouTube. And then we have Seth's point of view. And from Seth's point of view, he was at work all throughout the night, right? And then he got a phone call and a text message was on his phone. And that's when they told him, don't be mad, but Sebastian's missing. And that's not in my words. I didn't say that happened. I'm not just making that up. I wasn't there either. But that is based on what Chris and Katie have said, mainly Chris, and then what Seth has confirmed, right? And to me, that's good enough. If the stepfather is saying, I called, and that's firsthand, that's him taking accountability. I called Sebastian's father, my wife's ex-husband, and I said, don't be mad, but Sebastian's missing, right? It's like, okay, don't be mad and Sebastian's missing. And then you go, all right, Seth, did you receive a phone call that Chris told you 911, don't be mad, Sebastian's missing? And he said, yeah, yep, that did happen. That's him corroborating the story. And that's both people who were there, who were directly involved, who are confirming this for us, right? So in my opinion, that's a fact. That's what happened, unless they're both lying, which I don't believe they are. Right? I mean, I know it's hard to believe what Chris says. But, you know, if Seth is saying, yeah, that's what happened, then we can check that off. Remember, the Proud Feet are 52% truthful. If we're talking about the whole pie, half of the time they're telling the truth. So there you go, Chris. There's your one little piece of that 50% pie. Telling the truth. But why can't the police come out and confirm that for us as well? Because there are some people out there, guys, that are looking at all three of the parents and saying, I don't believe nary one of them. Right? But we've never had a reason really to believe them, except for the fact that, you know, when I meet someone and I've talked to them, I can, I think, make a pretty good judgment of that situation. But we also know that in this case, we've had one parent who's been consistent and has told us pretty much the same thing every time he's asked the same question. And then we have two others that don't do that at all. I mean, again, I would say they're more like 30% on that one, truthful. But I'm not a computer, right? But I mean, just based on if I think about the interviews as a whole, Katie has left out information. She's told us crap, and it's quite ridiculous. It is quite ridiculous, and it's unbelievable. And then we can't believe her. Like I don't trust Katie as far as I could throw her, but I still wouldn't mind having a one-on-one conversation with her. I would never have it with Chris, and I would never want his big ass in the background talking shit, while I'm trying to discuss something important, someone who is important with his wife. So that's never going to happen. But she was the one that was last with Sebastian, so why would I want to talk to anybody else but her? Again, it'll never happen. Oh, thank you, Patty. Thank you so much for gifting a Lady Freedom's Raw Narratives membership. If you got a membership from Patty, please say thank you and welcome to the Dragon Tribe. Aw, thank you. That's so sweet. Where was Mr. Bowersox that Monday morning? Good question. We know Mama was talking about her jewelry. That's a good question. Aw, peace, love, and Jeeps. I know. That was what I woke up to today. I mean, I was just like, oh, look at this. Rise and shine. Yeah, really, it was a beautiful picture. Really beautiful picture. Just everybody there, just, yeah. Everybody made their signs. I like this one that looks the black and white photo. Whoever made this is beautiful. 2 years gone. Where is Sebastian Rogers? We demand justice for Sebastian Rogers. We also have Sumner County Sheriff's Office bring me home. Just wonderful job on the signs, guys. I didn't see any signs that were, offensive or even argumentative and or anything like that. So, but yeah, these are my beautiful friends here. I love you guys. Just way to stand up for Sebastian, way to be there for Sebastian. I think we made a difference, you guys. I really do. And I think that the way that we executed this was like spot on. Like I couldn't have asked for more, especially when we see violent protests. This was absolutely like a hippie protest, just peace, love, and, like our friend Peace, Love, and Jeeps, peace, love, and, gathering for Sebastian. Ada says no parent should have to beg for communication from LE. Boom, there it is. Never should have to beg for communication from LE or from help, right? That's what they're there to assist, right? I mean, I agree with that 100%. Or any other agency or organization finding their missing child. 2 years is too long. Hashtag bring Sebastian home. Thank you. And thank you for the green hearts, guys. Yeah, they were incredible, right? Yes. Yeah, and I mean, I enjoyed making the umbrellas and just, collaborating with our friend Scranton and so um but yeah, they turned out great. Aw, thanks, Jenny by the beach. Yeah, thank you. Sadly, they're just words, in my opinion. There seems to be no action from Sumner County. Well, and I think that's how a lot of people feel, peace, love, and Jeeps. And I really wanted to know your guys' thoughts because I know we read the statement before and we kind of discussed it on the nighttime live. But I mean, here it is again, and I understand that from their perspective, what we were doing was making noise, but how else do we get um, people involved, right? Because we weren't the ones honking. We were asking for honks, but people were honking. So what that told me was that the majority of people in the area want Sebastian to be found. They want justice and they want answers because look, it's a scary thought to know that there is this 5'5", which is an average height kid. I know Katie is telling everybody he's tall. Well, he may be taller, but at this time of his disappearance, he was 5'5", which is average height. He's an inch shorter than me at this time, right? I'm 5'6". And so when we look at that and we're examining that, right? Um, that's very hard to just say, oh, this young man disappeared into thin air, even if he was a little person, 3 years old and only 2 foot tall. We just don't vanish and disappear. So people want answers. And if they haven't named people of interest or made it an arrest yet, then some people might think that Sebastian was abducted by someone other than, because my opinion is that Katie knows and Katie had something to do with it, but there may be other people out there that are saying he could have been taken by someone else. And that's a scary thought, because then people are saying, I don't want my kids out playing, right? Like Mrs. E said on on the podcast the other night. She was talking about that very thing, that it was scary and they didn't know if they wanted their kids to be outside playing and things of that nature. So, I mean, it doesn't give the community an easy feeling. It's quite the opposite. They are very uneasy. And I think that what we did was well received. I think a lot of people stood behind it. Sandy says, if it's not true, I would be the first one in front of the camera defending myself, and I would have a press conference. EC is hiding something. I think so too, Sandy. Yeah, he's trying to hide everything, but then he's telling us that we need to only consider facts, but he doesn't put any facts out there for us to consider. And that's frustrating as hell to me, because I feel like we're being guilted even though he's the one that's withholding the facts. We're being guilted for not going with the facts, but he's the one that has the facts and he's not giving them up. It's very confusing. And it's not the way that's not leadership. So when Mayor Isbell talks about how Eric Craddock is a great leader, I have to respectfully and entirely disagree, because I've never seen a good leader. We'll just say, let me back up. I've never seen a good leader act in the way that he is. That's not leadership. And the attitudes reflect the leadership, because we're not getting what we need from leadership. We're not getting guidance from them. But yet he's scolding us. Oh, how dare you follow misinformation? Well, you're not telling us what the correct information is. And it's human nature. Whether we like it or not, we're going to fill in the blanks to make it make sense. If he doesn't know that, then he needs some leadership training, in my opinion, because I have been a leader. I might not have been law enforcement, but I've managed teams, I've coached teams in real estate. And let me tell you, that's not how you act as a leader. People are looking to you for answers, and then you're scolding them because you have not given them the guidance that they're seeking. That's not a leader. As a matter of fact, that sounds more like a dictator. Just listen to what I say and do what I say and don't talk about it. Shut up about it. Yeah. Nice dictatorship. Eric Craddick Tater. All right, so Faye says, why won't they clear Seth? They don't want Mr. McDonough and the Cold Case Foundation in their feet for the same reason they denied U.S. Marshals and FBI's help, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why they won't, other than maybe because they don't want to tip off Chris and Katie. But I think that's exactly what we need here. I think they need to clear Seth and leave those two where they are, because everyone knows that they have guilty. I'm going to say not everyone, but the majority of people who follow this case closely and have a knowledge of this case are looking at Chris and Katie. They're not looking at Seth. They're just not, you know? So they have more stories than Mother Goose. Yeah, they do. They have lied and omitted details. Unfortunately, I don't think Katie can be trusted. I don't think so either. I don't think so either. Oh, I'm glad you like him, Nani. Yeah, I don't think she can be trusted. And as a matter of fact, it's because she's such a liar. You know, she can't even get her stories and her anecdotes correct. And an anecdote is a personal story that you're telling about yourself, right? So when she's talking about how Sebastian would say, Mom, you know, well, she just screwed that up because she said it different in another interview. So she can't even get that right. Everything Katie is saying is fake. You know, Jenny by the beach says, well, if they did put him in hiding for safety from a hostile partner, I'd have more respect for them. Yeah, I mean, I would understand that, but then for them to act like they don't know where he is still to this day, I can't respect that. You know, that's where my problem comes in, Jenny. And I get what you're saying though. Like say on, say it was like a month had gone by and they had all this pressure and everybody is, up in arms. Where's Sebastian? We don't know where he is. Oh my God, this poor boy. And then they came out and said, look, all right, we put Sebastian in hiding because we had our reasons, right? Whatever reasons they had. Because look, this is Katie's son, right? Respectfully, this is Katie's son. That's just the way it is, right? So she has, in my opinion, as a mom, she has the right to do what she believes is right for her son, right? Within reason. I mean, we have people like Andrea Yates who thought that she was taking her children's lives and saving their souls. No, right? In that case, that mom, she belongs in a mental hospital where she ended up. So, or in jail, arguably. Right, but if it came down to that, and very early on, Katie just said, "You know what? Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize people were gonna, be up in arms about this. I know where my son is. I put him in this school. You know, that would be totally different. But 2 years later, I mean, I just can't get down with that. I mean, even as a mom, it's like, but you kept him, because what we have to look at is how it made Sebastian feel, and it's very easy for us because we're trying to be supportive of parents, of Sebastian's parents, but I have to think about the way it made him feel and the way it affected him. He's being taken out of his environment as a child who's on the spectrum. He's used to having a routine that was interrupted. He's used to being around his mom and dad, and I'm not talking about Chris. I'm talking about Seth and his mother, Katie. Because you might as well take that asshole out of the equation. He couldn't even bother to come to an interview. All he did was watch and breathe down her neck and cough back there. That's not a step parent. So, in my opinion. So he's being taken away from his family, the family that he knew, right? Because the family that Sebastian knew, other than friends and some sporadic family members of Katie's on the one side, right? But she has an RSO for a mom and some sisters that are also involved in that activity, in my opinion, from my research. And then it's Seth and his family, right? But that's who Sebastian knew. And then they met Uncle Taco, and so that was a person that was close to Sebastian as well, right? But I mean, sometimes as we go along, we learn that we have close friends that become our family. So, but they're taking Sebastian away from the people that love him, that care about him, that have his best interest at heart. So, yeah, I mean, I can't feel bad for Katie, Chris, or any of them for doing that, even if they thought it was the best for him. Why is none of Chris's side of the family has ever done an interview, shared Sebastian's flyer on social media, or advocated for his return? I think it's because they didn't like him, case and clues, or excuse me, case and cues. Um, I believe that because when I went to look up Kathy Bowersox, right, and this was like I had no ill intentions or will or and I still don't for Chris's mom, right? I mean, do I think that she said some horrible things online? Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if somebody told me I was going to burn in hell, I'd say no, I'm not. I'm a Christian or something like that. Not Cruella, she's over there like, see you there. I got a spot picked out. I have a condo. It's like, damn, girl. But yeah, I mean, when I looked her up, she did not look like a loving grandmother. She looked like someone that is absolutely terrifying. Somebody that's not a loving person. There were no pictures of Sebastian. No pictures of a group of grandchildren. No pictures of a group of family. Right? I mean, I don't know. A lot of people still get together for Sunday dinner. And a lot of times there's pictures of that. I mean, I get pictures all the time from my Missouri family. We miss you at Sunday dinner, since I've moved. And I love seeing everybody together because that was our fun time that we'd all get together and you know, and have a good old time. So, yeah, it was weird. I'll just say that, and it's not me judging other people and saying, "Oh, well, my family's so much better than yours." No. Where are the pictures of even her biological grandchildren? They were not there, guys. They were not there. Kathy seems to care about Terry, right? So, hey, Catherine, good to see you. So Eric Craddock is saying if we shut up, he'll find him. No, I don't think so. I think he just wants us to shut up and let him, go about his business. Hello, M and J. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Hey, Yogi. I heard while you were all there, CP and Tex was at court getting protection orders. Yogi, what I heard was that on the 27th, they were due in court. Well, I mean, I know this because I looked it up. And they were absolutely due in court. And they showed up and they ended up pulling out again. So the judge also calling these attempts at suing Clarksville Police Department moot, right? Which means that there's no basis for it. It's ridiculous. It's a waste of time. So, yeah, that's what they were doing. That's what they were doing, in my opinion. And that's what's been documented through the courts. Montgomery County website has it up. So, yeah, they make a mockery out of the system. They abuse the system. That's one characteristic, like our friend Faye was saying earlier, of narcissists. They love to abuse the court system. They like the attention. They like to feel important. They like to go in there and give up their keys and put it through the basket and let it roll through there and, get beeped into the courthouse. I don't know. It's just something weird that those people enjoy. If you ever get involved with a narcissist, they'll take you through court when they can, as much as they can. So, being asleep is not an alibi, Deanna. Sumner County residents need to know before he runs for election unopposed like before. Someone needs to run against Eric Craddock and tell why it's important to replace him, in my opinion. I believe that too, Poppy Love. I believe that too. Aw, thanks, Jilly. I hope more people ask about Sebastian since you all went to raise awareness and support Seth last week. I hope so too. I hope so too, Poppy. I really do. I really do. Um, Hello, KK. Good to see you. I often wonder if KP is okay. Seriously, maybe CP is not the husband she feels compelled to claim he is. And if he is that manipulating, then maybe there's much more to the story. Yeah, Jenny, and I have explored that as well here. I think there can be two things, three things true at the same time, and I do believe that Chris is abusive towards Katie, and I think that Katie in turn has a lot of issues. And I think a lot of it was taken out on Sebastian, and I think maybe now she's realizing too, that just because Sebastian isn't here, that didn't fix the problem, because Sebastian wasn't the problem, you know. But yeah, there's a lot to be said about it. I mean, he's breathing down her neck. He's coughing in her ear. She's trying to speak with Holly Thompson about her missing son, but Chris just has to be right there, right? She's not allowed. Look, when a grown ass woman isn't allowed by her husband to do something, that's time to say bye bye, right? But she can't do that because he's abusive, and she's probably fearful, in my opinion, to speak her mind. And, those of us who have been a doormat, it's totally different on the second try. We don't let that happen to us, right? We see the red flag, and the minute that somebody tries to pull that crap on us, we're like, no, nope, not going to happen. That's not me. You should have met me 20 years ago. You should have met me 5 years ago. You should have met me 10 years ago. And I probably would have put up with that mess. But here now, no, ma'am. Not putting up with it these days. You would be, or you would hope that Sumner County judges would see through the wasting time. Yeah, I agree. When there's more important cases that with false claims and requests, when they have been the only ones threatening. I know. Well, and they were going after the Clarksville Police Department. Who sues the police department for no reason? Right? I mean, I felt bad for them, you know? Yeah, I know, exactly. And she is tough. Katie has she's accomplished a lot. She survived a lot, so but sometimes even when you survive a lot and you think that you know what you're looking for, here comes a narcissist. Narcissists are very manipulative, they're very charming, and I don't even like to use the word charming because I feel like I'm giving them props. I feel like there's a narcissist somewhere saying, yes, I am charming. It's like, no, you're not that good. Actually, we can see through you, but it takes a minute, right? Because you're highly manipulative. So I like manipulative better than charming, but they can be. I mean, they're able to get in the good graces of other people and make people think that they're a good person when they're not. I mean, they're anything but. So I think that that's a big problem too. So the article goes on to say, according to the FBI, Sebastian was last seen on February 25th, 2024, after returning home with his mother, Katie Proudfoot, and saying goodnight. The next morning, Proudfoot found Sebastian missing from his room when she went to wake up the 14-year-old for school. Right? So Sebastian was 15. All right, Sebastian was 15. So, but, during the first week of the search for Sebastian, a community in interagency effort covered 44,000 acres of search area. Ground searches were joined by search and rescue canines, drones, helicopters, mounted patrols, ATV, fire departments, and airplane. On the second day of the search, the Sumner County Sheriff's Office reached out to the FBI for assistance. Statistics regarding autistic children shared by the FBI Behavioral Analyst Unit guided the FBI to focus searches near bodies of water. But here's the thing. Sebastian Rogers, he is an individual. Sebastian is an individual who is on the autism spectrum. Keyword spectrum. So, hello, Crazy Bird. So, with that being said, They needed to look at Sebastian as an individual young man that he is on the spectrum. He did not like to be dirty. So, first of all, that takes out the shoes because he wouldn't have left without shoes on. And it also takes out the bodies of water because he would definitely not want to go into dirty water when he's a quote unquote pool kid. Right? And he's high functioning too. So, it's not like he's going to be drawn into a situation that's dangerous for him, like another child might be, So, thank you, Poppy Love, for pointing that out too, because that's important to recognize. So, they were doing that, and that, in my opinion, was a waste of time. What they should have been was talking to his father more and getting the facts, but they decided not to. Instead, they were going over to Chris and Katie's house and having coffee with them. And that's per Ken Widener. He's the one that said that he did that. In September of 2025, the FBI addressed two rumors surrounding the case. It's been disproven: the flashlight theory and the person in the green hoodie theory. The flashlight theory was based on security camera footage from the night Sebastian disappeared, which captured two small moving lights in the direction of the teen's backyard. The theory proposed that these lights were the flashlights of a suspect in Sebastian's backyard, which was disproven through law enforcement's examination of the footage. According to the FBI, the lights were headlights from a truck atop a hill. So, in my opinion, I don't see how that could be, because they were two light sources moving independently. And when two headlights are attached to the same car, they're going to move simultaneously. And then if you have two cars, there's going to be four headlights. Does that make sense? Unless one person has just only one headlight and the other person only had one headlight, and and if that's the case, show us, show me, right? So that's my thoughts on that. The person in the green hoodie theory stemmed from a video of Sebastian and his mother in a restaurant parking lot the night before Sebastian disappeared, where an individual in a green hoodie interacts with Proudfoot. Suspicions arose that in the short interaction, the person in the green hoodie was planning something with Katie related to Sebastian's disappearance, the FBI stated in a September update, right? Well, a lot of us thought that perhaps the green hoodie did an exchange with Katie of some sort, right? Like a phone, maybe a bag of rugs, maybe an address, a piece of paper, a note, something, right? We didn't know what it was. We just know that that person was waiting out there for Katie, and then she finally made contact with her, and it was a very bizarre interaction. I think it's important to know anyone who may have been interacting with Sebastian and or Katie that night, right? So it's not far-fetched, but they also want us to think that, oh, nothing to see here. So it's still on the table, in my opinion, for me as well. They never like to talk about the yellow jacket, even though I've done several videos, and I sent them over to law enforcement, where it appears that there is a picture of a young boy on Yellow Jacket's phone that is wearing a Yoda t-shirt, just like Sebastian was that night. And we know that Katie was sitting across from Sebastian, and she was taking pictures without his knowledge. So there's that. But they never talk about that. So they say after the restaurant helped law enforcement identify the individual, They were able to meet the person and confirm they were not a suspect, right? And they did that, what, in 24 hours? Very quickly. And that was highly suspicious to many of us as well. No one ever brings them up. Breakaway headlights, peace, love, and Jeeps. I mean, I'm just saying, will they give us something? Because they said it was a trash truck for the longest. And this is where Sheriff Craddock, I hope you're listening. You're not fooling anybody, buddy. Right? You told us it's a friggin' trash truck. And now you want us to believe it's two headlights? Weird. You know? And it is. It's Bobby Simmons. Yeah. And none of this was from the FBI, by the way. It was all from TBI and Sumner County. Yeah, I think it's super suspicious. It's and amazing how quickly they found him. You know? Thank you, Doodle Mom. That's right. Give us the damn truth, please. It's been too long. Thank you, Doodle Mom. Absolutely. It's been too long. 2 years is too long. 2 weeks was too long. You know? Oh, Jenny, it's just weird. I just don't understand it because, they come out and clear the green hoodie, but she was also interacting with this yellow jacket guy, and it was not, in my opinion, Richard Bishop. I've kind of said that before, but just in case. And I don't think it was the guy that they had picked out. Well, I know it wasn't because I talked to a local, that they picked out and said that he had cancer and he had autoimmune or whatever he had. That gentleman is not the yellow jacket. So what's going on? The silence speaks volumes. The fact that Eric Craddock will not get up and speak and let us see his body language. Oh yeah. Big red flag. Okay, so a group of about 20 held a peaceful protest. There were more of us than that. On February 26th, the second anniversary of the day Rogers went missing, right? Because, yeah, he was reported missing. I just like to say reported missing February 26th because that's accurate, right? The last sighting of Sebastian was on February 25th, and we did get the confirmation from this being changed, right? So before this, it said Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers was last seen on February 26th in the area of Stafford Court. They changed it to the 25th. So he was reported missing. He's been missing since the 25th is always the way I've kind of put it. But again, I mean, 25th, 26th, now we're 2 years in, But yeah, I do believe that the mark is the 25th. The protest took place in front of the old General Sessions Courthouse on the corner of Smith and Water Streets in Gallatin. The spokesperson for the group was Andrew Griffin, better known as Bullhorn Betty, who said, "This is the second-year milestone of Sebastian's disappearance. We're out here protesting because we feel that Sebastian is not getting enough attention, and the case seems to be where it was on the day he went missing." Right? No traction, no difference. We would like an update from the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office later clarified that Sebastian has never been removed from a missing person database. We never said that, and neither did Bullhorn Betty. I've never heard her say that. That the case has not been closed or suspended. We know that. Otherwise, we'd be FOIAing the shit out of it. Right? We would FOIA that like there's no tomorrow. Everybody would be FOIA-ing that. We'd be scraping together our money to get a friggin' FOIA, okay? I know I would be. I'd be up here like, hey guys, I know you guys just helped me out not too long ago. We got a FOIA. We got a FOIA. So no, there's no. So, not closed. Thanks for confirming that. Nobody had a question about that. But good job on deflecting. Craddock. Sheesh. All right. So let's see. And all credible tips are reviewed and followed up on. All right. Alongside the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, the FBI and the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation continues to follow leads. Well, I would hope so. The Sumner County Sheriff's Office urges the public to rely on official information released through law enforcement channels when there is none being released. The Sheriff's Office said in a statement, rumors, speculation, and unverified claims, including social media posts that misrepresent investigative facts, distract from the investigation and lead to misinformation. Which ones would that be though, Craddock? Because I posted one where you were talking about how you prefer snuggle struggles. That was your post. The FBI is offering a reward of up to $50,000 for information leading to Sebastian's whereabouts. The Sumner County Sheriff's Office requests that if anyone believes that they see Sebastian, excuse me, they should call 911. Now, this is right here is, true. Anyone with information regarding his disappearance, 1-800-TBI-FIND. There's also a FBI number, right? You can call the FBI local field office. This is not manned 24 hours. I just want to put that out there. That tips to TBI at tbi.tn.gov. I can show you an email where they sent me back an email when I sent them information and told me that, it's not manned 24 hours. So I don't know why he doesn't put that in there because, he's spreading misinformation himself. And thank you, Janet Scott. Thank you for writing this article. This is Sebastian Rogers, disappeared February of 2024, but police are continuing the investigation and seeking tips. Sumner County Sheriff's Office, right? Sebastian's beautiful smile. He's got that cute little dimple. Adorable. And there's a group. I guess there's about 20 of us there, but guys, people were coming all day. I mean, we had a wonderful turnout. A wonderful, wonderful turnout for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. So I was just very happy and thankful for everyone that showed up. So that's that article. And that's part of what was going on there. I appreciate them being so kind as to print that for Sebastian and show the love and support. Oh, hey, Jilly, thanks so much for gifting 5 Lady Freedoms Raw Narratives memberships. If you got a membership from Jilly, make sure you say thank you and welcome to the Dragon Tribe. Aw, thank you so much. And congratulations to everyone who got a membership. So, ooh, ceviche. Ooh, I want some. That's one of my daughter's favorites is ceviche. She loves it. That's what a lot of the fishermen guys around here will do on their boats. They catch like fresh fish and then they make a ceviche, because all you have to do is add the lime and it kind of, cooks the fish a little bit. So, in my opinion, 24 hours is way too long. Betty H. Yes, it is. It is. I mean, and they had so much information in the beginning, didn't they? They really did. They had tons of information. They had tons of resources at their disposal. When they didn't find Sebastian in a 3-mile radius around his house the first day, they should have known right away. They should have, if they weren't going to do exactly what they needed to do, which was take everybody down to the station, that would have been the time to do it, right, Betty? I think. Take them down to the station and question them. Everybody in a separate room. Everybody in a separate room. Ask Chris, did you ever take a belt to your son, Sebastian, right? Oh, well, he's my stepson. He calls me Mr. Chris. Oh, okay, but you did take a belt to him. All right, there you go. That's a yes. I mean, those are the kinds of questions they could ask him like that. But they didn't. It took our lovely Smiley to get that out of them. Peace, Love, and Jeep says it was also said that the Green Hoodie frequented Texas Roadhouse. Supposedly, staff said that they had not seen the individual before. Well, and that's what they were saying about the Yellow Jacket, too. They were saying that, he's a frequent flyer, blah, blah, blah. Well, I didn't see anybody greeting him like they knew him. Because I'll tell you what, I've worked at restaurants and, you have your regulars. You do. I've worked the bars too. You have regular customers that come in and you're like, hey, Ted, hey, Cheryl, hey, Sarah, hey, Bob, whatever, and you know those people and they know you. And a lot of times they'll say, I want to sit in, Trisha's section or whatever, they know your name and they come in to see you if you're a good server, and then you know what they drink already, and that's the reason why they like that. So, I mean, yeah, if they were a regular, you couldn't tell. So, aw, thanks, Jilly. Faye says for sure there are friends with persons of interest, and he should be out of the case, in my opinion. I think so too. I think they need to take it away. I think he needs to give it away. I think he needs to man up and just give it away. Aw, Yogi, so wonderful. I'm so glad you got a membership. And Jenny by the beach, wonderful. I'm glad you got a membership too. Welcome to the Dragon Tribe. Green hoodie running back across the street after the interaction with KP is sus. I think so too. And there's a lot of cameras back through there, Jenny, because when I was there, and I also had one of my local friends send me over some pictures of that too. And she's like, check out how many cameras are back through there. And I'm like, oh, wow. Because there's a doctor's office right back there too. So yeah. There's way more footage than just the Texas Roadhouse. And then also the Texas Roadhouse has cameras everywhere, guys. It's like a camera, a speaker, a camera, a speaker all around the building. And then you go in there and there's cameras everywhere, Exactly, Doodle Mom. They want the public's help. Why not give us more info? I'd be happy to take more info. I would love to have more info. We need it. So we need it. Aw, welcome to the Dragon Tribe, guys. Aw, that's so awesome. Doodle, they don't want the public's help. They didn't let the public search for him, and Craddock afraid we might find him. And I'll tell you, once we do find Sebastian, that's when we'll know everything. Funny, Katie and Sebastian still has an Amber Alert. I know, or said that, yeah. It's funny that Katie said that Sebastian is still on the Amber Alert. And, I mean, and good to see you, Gina. Katie talked about the flyers, keep his face out there. But then she talked about how we need to get him out of the local area, right? But is that because they're telling people locally that Sebastian's already been found? Makes you wonder, And I'm sorry, but Katie, I don't call her Shady Katie for nothing. I don't do that because I don't like her, because I have a disdain for her. It's not that. It's because she is shady. She just strikes me as not being truthful at all. Yeah, and where's this official information he speaks of? Exactly, Aw, hey Tori, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Hey, Barbaluba, good to see you. It's been a while. I've given my brain a rest for a while from the angst concerning Sebastian, but I want to thank you for the persistence for him. You are lovely. Thank you, Barb. That's so sweet of you. I really appreciate that. And I understand it's hard. Taking a break is always a good thing. And, you're coming back with a fresh set of eyeballs for us. So that's wonderful. Because I take a step back on things too. If I'm watching something or, and then I take a step back, I rewatch it or, go back to it. It's amazing the things that you kind of think about and the perspective changes, So, aw, Tori, get some sleep. Hey, Sasha, good to see you. Eric can pretend every day he is in charge when we all know Mrs. Monster Sucks is his boss. Oh, Sandy. I believe that too. She was all up in the comments section whenever they were talking about the misconduct of that officer. I thought that was telling. She was right in the mix. She can't help herself. But heaven forbid she puts out any information that Sebastian's still missing or tries to advocate for him. Do you remember the letter redacted from the Texas Roadhouse owner to Atna? I think, yes, I do. I do, Sammy. Good to see you. Yeah, yeah, I do. Um, they did not seem to be the ones to tell Craddock or help law enforcement find Green Hoodie. To the contrary, they were saying that they thought Green Hoodie was a different person altogether, in my opinion. You know, I feel like we have him at 18. I laughed before, but I don't know. I want to trust that she wouldn't hurt her son and hide it. Yeah, I mean, I go back and forth with could Katie hurt her son? You know, I just don't know. I mean, she goes, I'm so hurt that people think I would do that, but it's just the reason why I think that she could is because of her actions, because she's so cold. She's got no emotion, you know? No emotion at all. Oh, Tori, it was so great meeting you too. Oh my gosh, I was just like so overwhelmed with everybody, like just how sweet everybody was, how kind everybody was. It's like, gosh, these are our people, right? This is our tribe here. And Sasha says, fuck that. We need to locally look like the elite military. We are Sebastian. Sorry. That's right, Sasha. That's right. That's right. Uh, where is Katie and Chris? Have they not heard the idiot running his mouth for a while? I know. No, he's busy coughing. He's hacking up a lung and he's watching Katie like a hawk. The cut narc searching the area where we see activities on mob analysis. Yep. We didn't know that when narc got cut searching the serpentine belt. Yep. Oh, weirdo alert. Yeah. Okay, so I remember that too. And that's the thing. They've been threatening the searchers and all of that kind of stuff. Aw, thank you, Witchy. They have been. Chris was behind the cam at Katie's last interview, heard him cough, signaling allegedly. Yeah. He was like, oh, tell him it's the telephone game. Tell him it's the telephone game. Well, the telephone game is a little different. You're not spitting truth in someone's ear. You're trying to see what comes out, on the other end. So if I told Crazy Bird something, Crazy Bird told Witchy, then Witchy tells Sandy, then Sandy tells Tori, on and on. It's going to change, right? So yeah, it's not a great analogy, but they're not good at analogies because they're too busy trying to convince us of something that's not true, in my opinion. So, but yeah, it was a great event, guys, and we're still going to go over more. I want to do a panel Saturday. So I had a couple of updates I wanted to share with you guys. Our beautiful friend Detroit had sent me over an update in the Cleveland case with the two little girls who were found in a suitcase. Let me go ahead and drop this again. And this is a petition through change.org for beautiful Haley Busby. I'm just going to drop that in the chat. Please go check that out. Sign it, share it, get it out there to everyone. So we got Cleveland woman arrested. This is courtesy 19 News. Cleveland woman arrested for murder as investigation into 2 deaths of the girl found in suitcases, right? So it was the mom. And we were saying that, the other day, I was like, oh boy, I think this is the mother, right? Because it was 2 half sisters, and that was the first thing that was identified. So here we go, guys. I'm just going to share this out.
Breaking news alert.
It's no secret that it touches our hearts. Our officers are human just like everyone else, and they're their parents, their grandparents, and it affects them as well.
Cleveland police have identified and detained a person of interest after making a horrific and disturbing discovery. Thanks for joining us for the news at 11. I'm Chris Fry. 2 young girls identified as half-sisters found buried in suitcases. Police have not released the name of the person they brought in for questioning, but records show that 28-year-old Aaliyah Henderson was booked into the Cuyahoga County Jail tonight for murder and child endangering. Neighbors telling 19 News she lived at the home where police detained someone earlier this evening. Here's Caitlin McCarthy with the breaking details.
Police spent hours taking evidence from a home here on East 162nd Street in the Collinwood neighborhood. This is across the street from where the two girls were found in suitcases buried in shallow graves.
Part of the investigation led us to this home, and it's been a nonstop, ongoing investigation. Our homicide unit, it's often not said, but they have been working around the clock in this investigation.
Cleveland police say a person of interest has been brought in for questioning involving the two young girls buried in a field next to Ginn Academy. The community has been trying to grip this heartbreaking discovery that was made on Monday evening. We spoke with a neighbor who lives close to the home investigators searched. She did not want to show her face.
I was just shocked. Like, that's like crazy. Who can do something like that to some babies?
Councilman Michael Polensik says he wants accountability for whoever did this and justice for these girls.
What kind of monster demon would do this to two children? Just throw them away like they're garbage. No, not here. Not in Collinwood. No, that don't happen. We're not going to put up with that. We want resolution. We want these two children. There's got to be justice for these two kids.
A somber reminder of where the remains of the girls were found. This small memorial showing that the community will not let them be forgotten.
This obviously is difficult in terms of the ages of the victims, and it's no secret that it touches our hearts. Our officers are human just like everyone else, and they're their parents, their grandparents, and it affects them as well, which is, it goes to say that they're committed to resolving this as quickly as possible.
And the names of the two girls found deceased have not yet been released. Cleveland police say this investigation is ongoing.
Okay, sorry, I was muted. So yeah, Laura, as far as I know, it was the mother. It was the mother of the two girls, and they did release their names were Armour and Mia Chapman. And so I wanted to share that as well. So just bear with me here. And, oh, I lost it here. Hold on one second. Let's do this. I have to pull it up on Facebook because we're going to see the full name here. Oh, okay. I think if I just share this one. Okay. So share screen. Let's do this and go here. All right. So there we go. So Abby Blabby, True Crime and News Post, right? So shout out to Abby Blabby. That's a cute name. So, mother arrested after two sisters found dead in suitcases. A 28-year-old woman has been arrested after the body of two young girls were discovered in a suitcase, or in suitcases, right? Separate ones, poor girls, near Ginn Academy in Cleveland. According to police records, Aaliyah Henderson was booked into Cuyahoga County Jail on Wednesday evening and is facing charges of murder and child endangering. Authorities said investigators executed a search warrant Wednesday at a residence near East 162nd Street and Midland Avenue, close to where the suitcases containing the girls' bodies were found earlier this week. During that search, Cleveland Police Sergeant Freddie Diaz said officers were able to identify her as a person of interest in connection with the case. People also discovered a third child inside the home who appeared to be in good health. My Lord. Oh, boy. That child has been placed in the custody of the Department of Children and Family Services. The two children were found Monday evening in separate suitcases that had been partially buried in the shallow graves in a field near Ginn Academy. A person walking their dog reported discovering the first suitcase before calling 911. Officers responding to the scene located the second suitcase nearby, Rest in peace, Armor and Mila. Back history. The police in Cleveland are investigating a horrific discovery after the bodies of two young girls believed to be homicide victims were found buried in separate suitcases Monday evening. According to the chief, Dorothy Todd, the suitcases were discovered in a field off of East 162nd Street near Gin Academy, not far from Saranac Playground. Oh my lord. Investigators say that the luggage had been partially buried in shallow graves. It's just terrible, horrific situation, Todd said during a Tuesday press briefing. The discovery began when a man walking his dog called 911 on the evening of March 2nd after noticing a suitcase partially buried near a fence line. The caller, identified as Philip Donaldson, told reporters his dog ran towards the suitcase. Well, good for that little dog. Thank you to that dog for being a hero. When he went to check it and unzip the luggage, he discovered a human head inside and immediately contacted police. Aww. Officers arrived and confirmed the suitcase contained a body. While searching the area, investigators found a second suitcase nearby containing another victim. Police say the girls' remains were intact and not dismembered, and both bodies were transported to the Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's office for examination. Authorities estimate the victims were between approximately 8.5 and 14 years old. One girl believed to be between 8.5 and 13 years old. The other estimated between 10.5 to 14 years old. Their identities remain unknown, but police state both were Black or African American descent. Investigators say there are currently no local missing children reports that match the girls' descriptions. So, guys, I don't think they were ever reported. Prompting police to expand their search to the state and nationwide databases. Right? Police also have not yet determined how the girls died or how long the suitcases have been in the field. However, Chief Todd noted the recent heavy snowfall may have concealed the graves for some time. The Cleveland Division of Police Homicide Unit has launched a 24-hour tip line as detectives work to identify the victims and determine who is responsible. Chief Todd urged residents to check security footage for anything suspicious, including unfamiliar vehicles or individuals lingering in the area. Anyone with information is asked to contact Cleveland Police Homicide Tip Line 216-623-5464. And that's also, you can call the Crime Stoppers at 216-252-7463. Police say there is no clear indication of immediate threat to the public safety, but investigators are working urgently to determine whether the crime occurred and who the victims are. And I suppose this was before they were able to identify. This is Aaliyah Henderson, right? This is her inmate number 0371348. She was booked in on March 4th, 2026, around 8:30 p.m. She's a female. She is Black. She is 28 years old, right? So she's been charged with murder and endangering children. Look. Oh my gosh. And they just look like they're about the same age. And I'm guessing that's why they weren't able to identify, how old they are, because they're about the same age. Just so absolutely tragic. So absolutely tragic. My goodness. It's an evil, crazy world. Hey, Detroit, thank you so much for sending that, girl. I was really looking forward to that update, just to find out what had happened here. Because, where that tree line was, there's people living right across the street. So I thought that was, interesting. Right. What about CPS not paying attention for too long? I wonder, my opinion, speculation. I agree. Did I miss, or did they say the last time the girls were seen? They didn't say, and they weren't reported witchy. So, they don't even know how long they've been there, but they know it's been a while, probably based on the condition. Um, right across the street from the house. I know. And, Detroit, right by the playground. Ugh, I know, Jenny, but she looked like a caring mom, but people act that way in public, so you just don't know. Um, I'd like to see the autopsy. I'd like to know what happened there. I have a couple more clips to show you guys just because I wanted to do an update here as well. So let me go ahead and pull that one in. This one is, I believe, is this the same one? Okay, no, this is a different one. I want to make sure I got this one. All right, let me go ahead and switch this over really quick. Okay, and this is again 19.
And good morning. I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News, coming to you from our digital desk. We want to update you on a story that has really gripped Cleveland and really Northeast Ohio, because this case continues to unfold. And so we want to make sure we've given you the most updated information. We've just gotten a press release from the city of Cleveland to sort of update this. So we're going to try and walk you through this case because it is so convoluted. It starts Monday evening, and we want to show you video from when this occurred. This is on the east side of Cleveland, really near the Ginn Academy. And at this point, it was called in as a man who was walking his dog, and his dog smelled something, for the lack of a better term, hit on something, and the man investigated, and it appeared to be a suitcase that was partially buried, or buried in a shallow, what police called a shallow grave. Immediately, they began searching that area. They do find that first suitcase, and there was a child's body in there. They start searching the rest of the area. You can kind of see it's a wooded area. As they begin to search that that area, they find a second suitcase that is also partially buried or in a shallow grave, and also contains the body of a young child. And so that's where the case evolved as far as Monday night into Tuesday. A little bit of information came out Tuesday that it appears that the DNA from testing the DNA from the two children, that they appeared to be at least half sisters. And that really started the investigation. And from what the Cleveland police say, in this press release, that the homicide unit launched in an intensive investigation working to develop leads through area canvassing, witness interviews, and the review of available surveillance footage. Despite limited initial evidence, detectives worked quickly and methodically to advance the investigation. That goes through the course of a day or two. And I want to show you exactly where we are talking in the city of Cleveland on the east side, just so that if you're familiar with the area, that you might be able to just see where we're talking. You can see I-90 on the east side, and we are focusing in on where that red bullet point is.
Okay, guys, so this is a really good view of where they were. I mean, look how crowded this is. This is not rural, this is not an area where you would think that someone would decide, hey, nobody's gonna be none the wiser. And like Sasha was saying, I mean, did no one smell anything over here? Look, Saranac Playground right here, Ginn Academy. I mean, look at the parking lot. It's a big school. We have houses. We have, a neighborhood surrounding this area, right? St. Clair Ave. Wow. I mean, and then we have St. Mary. So just a very busy area, metropolitan area of Cleveland here. I believe they said East Cleveland. Um, Heartbreaking, you know. And hey, Jen, good to see you, Jen. Thanks for being here. I'm thinking 8 and 11, they looked about maybe a year apart, if that, you know, just seeing them in that picture. Beautiful little girls. And then to know that there was another child that was left in the house. What does that poor child know? What has that child been through? Was that child sitting there wondering if they're going to be next? And why did she leave that child to live and kill the two other children? Very disturbing. Very disturbing. Nani says the ground, especially up north in Ohio, would have been very hard to dig in the winter. Absolutely. Makes me very curious how long they had been there. Also, how did the mother do this without being seen? I mean, it's just right here. And, you know, a lot of those neighbors had like porches that were facing toward, you know, and a lot of times people do sit up on their front porch, you know, and hang out. I mean, that's kind of a Midwestern thing that you do, is hang on the front porch, right? So how did no one see this? She had to have come, you know, at nighttime, but look, I mean, it's right there. Very interesting that she was undetected for so long. And I agree, Nani, it had to have been when the weather was nicer, you know? So, well, and that's true too, Detroit. That's a good point. It's sometimes below zero, so that would keep the smell down until everything started to thaw out. Yeah, and we're just now getting some nicer weather in because it was a cold winter. So if she did this right before it got really cold, that could have concealed and that could have preserved the situation. Absolutely. How horrible. I don't know, Sasha. I don't know if if he was a male child. I'm not sure how old that child is. But they were taken into CPS custody, or you know, Department of Family and Human Services, whatever they call it there. I'm betting that child is younger and maybe not talking much yet. Witchy, I wonder too. You know, and I think that would make sense, right? Because maybe that little one didn't, you know, have anything, you know, didn't know anything about what was going on. Ugh, so horrible though. It's possible the mother was allowing something for money and had to hide. That's a big possibility, Sasha. You know, there's so many things that could have happened here. And, you know, how do you go from being a loving, caring mother who's reading your child a story, right? Reading them both. They both looked well kept, well dressed, well fed, and then they end up in suitcases. It's mind boggling. Has there been any mention of the girls' father? It's beyond sad if there are two men who haven't missing yeah, have missing daughters. Well, and you know, Nani, that's a good point. I know they've been identified as half sisters, so I'm thinking, you know, where's the fathers at? Yeah, there's got to be two fathers out there that have just received the most horrific news anybody could ever want to receive. You know, okay, the child at home was a boy. Thanks, Faye. Thank you. Aw. So I wonder what happened there. You know, money or maybe lack of money. Money or maybe lack of money. Yeah, I can see that, Sasha. Just absolutely horrific. All right, so here we go, guys.
Is the intersection of Midland Avenue and East 162nd. You can see it's just a half a block away from Ginn Academy, and it's really this wooded area that you see on the back of this, what they call Saranac Playground. You see the trees before those what look like semi-trailers. That's the area that these two suitcases and the two young girls' bodies were found. Let's fast forward to yesterday. Yesterday afternoon, police are back out at that scene after really opening that area up. And I want to make sure we've got the right video here. They go back out to the area to search a home that they develop information on, and they get a search warrant for a house in this area. You can see more of those trailer boxes in the back there. And they start to do more investigating. They go back to a home in the 700 block of East 162nd Street. And according to the police, within less than 48 hours, detectives detained a person of interest and recovered substantial evidence related to the case while they are searching that home on East 162nd. They also find a child inside that home who they say appeared to be in good health. Now, from that, we do know that according to police and their release, that one person was taken into custody. A 28-year-old female was arrested, and she is expected to be charged later today. That's where we want to sort of stop with the information given us today from police. What we also know through working this story is that, police have yet to put a name to the 28-year-old arrested. They at least don't put that name in this press release. But what we know is that a 28-year-old woman was arrested yesterday evening, and she was arrested on charges of murder and child endangering. That was the arrest charges and why she was arrested. Now, you at home may want to put two and two together. We can't do that as of yet. All we can do is give you the details of the two bodies that were found, the home that was searched, and that a 28-year-old was arrested in that home. We can also tell you that we know in the city of Cleveland and Cuyahoga County from the Sheriff's Department that this woman was arrested yesterday, Aaliyah Henderson. She is 28 years old and arrested and expecting charges for murder and child endangering. We are trying to tread lightly here. We are just giving you what we know, that this woman here has been arrested, Aaliyah Henderson, and she has been arrested and is expected to be charged for murder and child endangering. But that.
Okay, so this is when they still weren't sure, but it does appear that this is the girl's mother, right? And they did say, because I know Detroit, you would think, especially, I mean, a suitcase that maybe there was some dismembering or something like that that was done here, but it doesn't appear that way. But I would think that they might have been pretty small to be able to fit in there. I think they ruled out the dismemberment portion. So sad, but malnourishment, yeah, I can see that, because I mean, to fit in there, it reminds me of that crazy lady that had her boyfriend get in the suitcase and she zipped him up and then she left him in there and he died. It reminds me of that, and he was not a big man. I went back and looked, and he was short and small, but he still fit in there. So I mean, a 10 to 14-year-old, golly, just depending on how big they are, just so sad. Yeah, she doesn't look like she's, I mean, cold. It's cold, very ice cold. Sarah Boone, thank you, Nani. Yeah, Sarah Boone was the one. Yeah, and she filmed it and everything. She was drunk and laughing and carrying on about him, poor guy. Yeah, Sandy, Sarah Boone. Hello, NorCal SoGal. So good to see you. I mean, doesn't give a hoot, does she? She just like, yep, that was me. I mean, I'm wondering if this wasn't something that happened a while back, and that's true. Sasha, she could have put them in a freezer, it wasn't intentional. She says, Sarah Boone in her letters, right, witchy. Yeah, I didn't mean to, even though I was sitting there laughing at him, and she was like poking him with a stick or beating him with a stick. I can't remember exactly which one, but I mean, I don't know how you could do that to someone, even if you're very angry with them, right? I mean, I don't see that. I don't see that at all. Um, oh, maybe there were some broken bones. Yeah. Oh, Sandy. These poor little girls. I mean, I just don't understand why you would do that. There's so many families, there's so many moms out there, or moms that want to be moms, that wouldn't mind taking even an older child and mentoring and caring for that child and being a parent to that child. And so it just, oh my goodness. It just makes me so sad to think about that. And then some people can just have so many kids and not even bat an eyelash. But here we go. Here's a little bit more of this.
That's kind of where we have to stop. And again, you at home may be wanting to put two and two together, but we are just sort of pumping the brakes just a little bit. Now, we do know that according to the press release, when we start talking about that house on East 162nd, police are telling us that that is a 28-year-old woman and that she is expected to be charged later today. Now, will we be able to finally connect the dots later today? Very possible. Are we about to get a second 28-year-old woman that is being charged in connection to this case? We will just have to wait and see. More than likely not. But we are just proceeding with caution here, giving you the basics, giving you what we have been told by investigators, because this case is so serious and because so many people are wondering, how does this happen? How does a girl that they believe was 8.5 years old, how does a girl that was 14 years old end up in a suitcase and end up partially buried or buried in a shallow grave very near a school on the east side? So that's where we are at. I do want to read a quote given to us today from Police Chief Dorothy Todd. She says in the press release, there were two young lives with their entire futures ahead of them. Our detectives worked tirelessly and with great care to identify those responsible. She goes on to say, investigations of this nature require patience, precision, and discretion. Unlike what is often portrayed on television, every detail cannot be shared publicly. Certain information must remain confidential to protect the integrity and of the investigation and ensure justice for these victims. Chief Todd goes on to say that careful and methodical work allowed our detectives to develop evidence needed to make quick identification of a person of interest, ultimately resulting in an arrest. So that's where we stand. Because we are in between news times, newscasts on Channel 19, wanted to make sure we got you the very latest now that the police have put out a new press release. Really, the newest piece of information we got in the last 20 minutes is that when they searched that home on East 162nd, a third person or another child was found in that home, and that child appeared to be healthy. That child has now been placed in the custody of Children and Family Services. So we're going to wait as more information unfolds. Look for push alerts. Look for our 11 o'clock news on Cleveland 43, our new news on Channel 19, and then, of course, 3.5 hours of news and first alert weather on Channel 19 starting at 3 o'clock. But again, if the person that was arrested yesterday, if the charges come down that the police are talking about in their most recent press release, if those come down, we will come back to you live with breaking news here on our digital platform.
Okay, guys, so shout out to News 19 or 19 News for sharing this update. I'm not sure how old the other child that was found in the house is, but I would say that it's probably one of those things where either he was too little, or maybe they are gathering some information through some play therapy or something like that in order to find out what this child has witnessed. I mean, kids are like sponges, guys. I never underestimate a child. Even if you think they're not listening or paying attention, they're very intuitive and they pick up on things, whether we like them to or not. if they feel like something is off, they may even hide somewhere to listen, right? And eavesdrop on a conversation. So I just never put it past a child to be a witness of anything. That's why when Christopher Proudfoot was talking about Sebastian and how it's funny to him that the judge would be asking him any questions, I don't find that funny, and I don't think it's far-fetched at all, you know? So hello, Paige. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here, Paige. And I also saw who else came in that I saw earlier. I thought I missed somebody. But welcome in, guys. Thank you so much for joining in the conversation. They do. Oh, they do. Their little ears hear through the walls. Yes, Nani, and little eyes see way more than we think. They do. And again, when they feel something's off, they start looking around. That's who I wanted to say hello to is little Miss Sharon. Hey, little Miss Sharon. Thank you, little Miss Sharon. So good to see you. She had the rendezvous with the green hoodie. Yeah, the rendezvous with the green hoodie. And they still haven't told us um exactly who the green hoodie is. I think that would have maybe helped a little bit, but then again, maybe some people would have went after the green hoodie. Um I just don't it just doesn't make much sense to me. It really doesn't. I do want to take a look and see if we have one quick update here before we move on. So let's see. Might even go to their website. Let's see. Okay, so this is from 4 hours ago, guys. This is from 4 hours ago. This is going to be a trigger warning. Body cam shows the moments officers find the bodies of two young girls in suitcases. Okay, so I do want to bring you guys this update. Oh boy. So let's do that. Oh, we got to stand by. Okay, so this is breaking.
Best. We continue to update you on this incredibly sad, incredibly horrific story developing out of Cleveland's east side. It started Monday evening with the discovery of two suitcases that were partially buried in what police called a shallow grave. Those suitcases were discovered by a man walking his dog. In fact, one of the suitcases was discovered by him. You're about to see the body cam video of the first officer on scene who makes contact with that man who called 911 to say he found the suitcase and that he did open it. And when he saw a person inside, that's when he backed away and called police. I want to warn you, this goes without saying, that this is just incredibly graphic and incredibly sad. Now, we're not going to show where police bend down and start to unzip the suitcase. That's where we're going to stop out of sensitivity. But because there are so many questions of how could this happen and what did the suitcase look like and how do you fit what turned out to be an 8.5-year-old and a 14-year-old, how do you put those in two different suitcases?
Okay, guys, so this is an 8.5-year-old and a 14-year-old. This is absolutely horrific. It's so sad. It is absolutely so sad. So they are going to show some of this. So, if it's something that is too sensitive, I understand, this video, I'll just say, is we have about 16 minutes of it. So if there's something that you guys decide that you don't want to stick around for, I understand, but come back and we'll have a conversation. But just to let you know, it's going to be coming up. So it's so sad and horrific, but I think people do have a lot of questions, and I think it does help for us to understand how this could have transpired, right? And to dispel some rumors and things like that. Faye, absolutely. Lord help us. So very, very sad.
And leave them for dead. in the vacant lot or the vacant field next to Ginn Academy. This is the area of East 162nd Street is the area, and I believe we can show you that just so that you have an idea. The red point is the intersection of Midland Avenue and East 162nd. And we're talking about that tree line. It's called Saranac Playground. And if you look at that tree line that's kind of up against where those trailers, where those empty semi trailers are, that is the area that these suitcases were found. And just to zoom out to show you how far we are talking about from downtown Cleveland, not all that far. Again, this is the Glenville neighborhood. But this video is graphic to say the least. Some of the details that are shared by the man whose dog sniffed on that suitcase to discover it is pretty graphic. There is the discussion of a head, and there were terrible reports coming out, not from our station, from one of the other stations in town, that indicated that these girls may have been dismembered. That was completely false. But you're going to hear a statement by the man who unzipped it to say that he saw a head, and that's when he stopped and called police. So again, this is the last graphic warning. We are going to...
Okay, guys, so really quick, I just want to pop in. So there might have been some confusion, and I can almost see where the confusion came in, where maybe when they said that all he saw was like a head first, is that maybe that was because they thought, or maybe they thought that because he said that there was some dismemberment, but apparently that is not the case. Thank God. I just don't see how anyone can do this anyway, let alone that, to that extent, I know Detroit, that's what I keep thinking too. Like, could you imagine if a little kid went over there and unzipped that suitcase, right? Detroit says, thank God some little kids didn't find them. I mean, yeah, thank God it was, I think about the person, who found them, and then, but a little kid, oh my goodness. Yeah, because she wasn't mindful about hiding them somewhere where people, I mean, it's almost like she put them where people would find them. Very interesting, but gruesome and unholy at the same time.
Stop before the suitcase is unzipped. I will relay to you the conversation that was had by the three officers after the suitcase was partially unzipped. It was not unzipped and opened. It was nothing like that. The police had to make at least the identification, to verify what the man had said he saw in the suitcase. So again, we're going to show you this. Really not to glorify this, because this is just absolutely horrific. And I'll start playing this, but really
How you doing, sir?
To answer some of the questions many of you have.
Understood.
If you go, you can see the case from back here. It's all the way straight to the back.
Close to that sign?
Yeah, see the little black
straight ahead in front of me? Okay.
Straight,
It's a suitcase?
It's a suitcase. I've been walking past it for about a week now, because I take my dog. I stay right here. I take my dog. I usually walk her through there and then come around here.
Okay.
And for the last week, she's been stopped. It was like a mound of dirt. She's been stopped and sniffing like a little too long.
Okay.
And today I was like, well, I'm gonna take it. I hope it's not what I'm.
Right.
And it was halfway buried. It's about this thick. It's about halfway buried. I pulled it up, unzipped it. I couldn't really see, and I opened it up and hid.
Buried under the dirt, it was?
Yeah, halfway.
Okay.
You can see a little part of it sticking out.
And you said you noticed it for about a week already?
Yeah, it's been sitting over there. It's like somebody buried it or tried to bury it. And like I said, I walked my dog over there, and she keeps stopping it. She sniff a little too long.
Right.
She sniffs stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what that is.
Right.
I'm not with it. And today I was just like, let me see what that really is.
Okay.
It's back there.
All right,
I pulled it up so it's kind of standing up, and it stinks like hell.
Okay. You're right here. What was your name, sir? Okay, I will check it out. I'll be with you. Thank you. Thank you.
I just want to say also a big shout out to, the Cleveland Police Department who, responded quickly, and they've really just been investigating ever since. Okay, guys, so you can see it there, and it does appear that it's out in the open. It doesn't appear to be, even back in the wooded area. I mean, it's right against this tree line here. I mean, right there,
The
little
officer at
missionary.
this point is waiting for backup. You'll hear a conversation that he also needs someone to bring him a flashlight. Keep in mind, this is just the first of 2 suitcases that were found after the body was discovered. And this one, they start searching that entire wood line that you see, and they do eventually find a second suitcase with another body in it. Again,
Hey, are you still inside the district? Okay. I was gonna have you grab my flashlight, but that's all right. When you get up here, if you go down 162, like I went up Saranac, 162, you can just pull in this parking lot for this Ginn Academy, and you'll see me back here. So I haven't opened it yet. The dude, I talked to the caller, he said that there was this suitcase partially like buried in the ground that he said he's been noticing for like a week, and his dog keeps trying to get to it. So he said that he pulled it out today and to see what was in there, because it was kind of heavy, and he noticed like a head and hurry, he just left it and called the police. So I'll just wait till you guys get here before I open it. All right. Yeah, just come down towards like Midland, and I mean, as soon as you get to like the last drive for the school, you'll just pull in there. I'm in the back. All right.
so again, this officer is going to wait for backup. It does take a couple of minutes to get here. He is going to start to do just a little bit of a preliminary search of this area. We're not entirely sure at this point where the second suitcase is. He walks down about 10, 15, 20 feet. There is an area of dirt that is also disturbed. Not exactly sure if that's where the second suitcase was. As we wait for the other officers to arrive, let's remind you what we know about this case. It was late yesterday afternoon, after detectives had been working this case, that they developed information
Hey, Gil, are you still at the district by chance? Can you do me a favor, please? I left my flashlight in the sergeant's office. Are you able to run it up to me? I'm on this call on 162. Yeah, so if you go in there right in front of, like on the side of the refrigerator, you'll see a flashlight. And then I'm on that call on 162nd and Midland. Appreciate it. Thanks, Gil.
Police use DNA from the inspection of the bodies from the medical examiner's office, determined that the 2 bodies were in fact half sisters. Again, one 8.5 years old, the other 14 years old. Using detective skills, according to the police department, they develop a lead to a home that's in this same area, on really across the street from this area. They served a search warrant yesterday, were able to collect a lot more evidence, and in fact, an arrest was made of a 28-year-old woman. That's as far as Cleveland police are going. We know through Cuyahoga County Sheriff Department records that a 28-year-old woman, Aaliyah Henderson, was arrested yesterday afternoon, evening, and was booked, or at least arrested, on charges of murder and child endangering. The police have not connected the two names, but in both cases, we're talking about the Cleveland police have identified a 28-year-old woman who was arrested in connection with the two suitcases. And then you have the Cuyahoga County Sheriff's Department that booked a woman, 28 years old, Aaliyah Henderson, for and what will eventually be charges. She was arrested on charges of murder and child endangering. So we'll let you watch the rest of the video as his backup is about to arrive. But again, out of sensitivity, we are going to stop before the officer reaches for the zipper to open that suitcase. In no way, shape, or form would we ever show that.
Yeah, guys. I mean, I don't even think I want to see it. I think I'll take their word for it. But that's just me. I'm sure there's going to be body cam footage out there of it. It does seem to me that, the first suitcase that was found, well, according to what they're saying, it seems to be that they found it more in the woods. But if she dug up, a spot to put that suitcase, she may have been exhausted. And, Detroit brings up a good point too, that possibly she had help, because that would not be an easy task. And, I appreciate you guys talking about, the ground and how, um it may be cold. It depends on when this all happened. But it would be very difficult to dig, especially if the ground was frozen. And then also that no one would see you over there digging and messing around, or they wouldn't hear tree branches snapping or anybody messing around in that little wooded area back there. Um, but it does appear that either she got tired, or she may have even wanted someone to find her children. As our friend my PTSD says, maybe even in such an awful situation, the mom wanted to find or make sure that her kids were found, in a twisted way, showing some care, if that makes sense. And it does, because we don't know what happened. It could have been an accident, and then she didn't know what to do. She panicked. But then also, it could have been completely premeditated, and maybe this was a situation where these children were starved or something to that effect. In which Mama says the ground would be frozen in October, November in Cleveland, according to Google. But that sounds about right, as I'm in Minnesota, and it's about the same. And I mean, this winter has been really, really rough, And thank you, little Miss Sharon, for your super sticker. That's so sweet of you. Thank you. And I'm glad they're not showing this whole thing. I wonder what evidence was, for them to find her so quick. Yeah, I know. I agree. I mean, it was really like a very quick case that, we were notified that this was found, and then all of a sudden, I think she lived right close in that area. I think she lived right on that block, so she didn't put them far from her. And, statistically, that's what we see, is that, when children go missing, they're not, usually far away from where they live, if they're found deceased, that is. So, thank you, Witchy. And Sasha says Ohio didn't waste time. They are very in the go state, and they never sleep. It's sick. We sleep when we're dead, Ohio. Right. Right. I mean, they were on it. They were on it. Oh, that's a good question. Witchy says, I wonder if there was a name or airline tag on the luggage. It definitely looked like travel, travel luggage, the ones that you pull and things like that. So, um, I know, and it's so cold up there. It's so cold up there. Hey, Kylie's nail candy. That's why they're half buried. Yeah, yeah, I think so too. Yeah, the weather's been pretty bad this year. It's been cold, and I've been looking at weather around that area from, Michigan, well, at least Michigan, because of Devlin's case, and as soon as we were able to get those boats, that commitment for the boats, it got cold. So, all right, guys, trigger warning again, because I think the assisting or officer has arrived.
This is where the officer walks down. If you look just at the bottom of the screen there is another area of disturbed dirt. Not entirely sure if that was the location of the second suitcase, but we know it was along that same tree line. His backup is just pulling up, and we'll take you through the rest of this video.
Can you show me out at 5, working on 3 reports and Mark taking an airing property? I got you. Yeah, 3-4 radio. Yeah, bye. 3-4, go ahead. Can you put me over Samsung 3 on this call? I copy 1834. Radio to Barney 14. His listed address is going to be in Euclid. They did have a possible callback. It's from last September. It's 216-463-2233. Can you repeat that? The last 4 that phone number? Yep, last 4 is going to be 2233. Copy that.
I ain't opened it yet. I left my flashlight. Oh, you got a flashlight. We're gonna have to look and see. I mean, it's like partially buried. He said it was sticking out for like a week. He finally decided to open it up. I just want to see. You flash your light on. I just want to see if there's any blood or anything on it. No. Yeah.
And that is where we have chosen to stop the video. I have watched the rest of it. From there's not a whole lot more. There's only about 20 seconds left on the video. The officer reaches down and unzips just the zipper to get it to the top and takes the flashlight. The suitcase does not open. They don't open it to that extent. They are just trying to see if, in fact, there was a body inside. He takes the flashlight. You hear one of the officers say, "Oh, yeah, that is." You hear one officer ask about if that was the head. And again, at this point, based on what the caller had said, something about a head in a suitcase, he says, "I can't tell." And she says, he says, "The head is attached. It's just folded in a fetal position." We didn't want to show that, but did want to relay. And that's where the video stops. Again, they don't ever fully open the suitcase. They were just trying to make an identification that, in fact, there was a body inside there. Unfortunately, we know that that body was of a child, a young girl. We are expecting the Cleveland police to announce on their end the name of the person that has been arrested. When they served that search warrant last evening, they did find another child in the home with the woman, the 28-year-old woman that was arrested. From what we're told by Cleveland police, that child was appeared to be healthy. And we are not sure yet the connection between the woman that was arrested by Cleveland police and the connection to the suitcase, the relation to the two young girls that were inside. We will wait for the police department, really for forensics, to make any announcement on that. But now let's confirm with what we can, what we do know about the woman that was arrested. This is now confirmed by the Cuyahoga County Sheriff's Department. When someone is taken to the Cuyahoga County Jail and booked, obviously a mugshot is taken and the initial arresting charge is listed. So while the Cleveland police have yet to name this individual, we know that this woman right here, 28-year-old Aaliyah Henderson, was booked by the Cuyahoga County Sheriff's Department on charges of murder and child endangering.
Okay, guys. So, yeah, I mean, they're very hesitant because Cleveland Police Department has not released the details publicly, but through research, they were able to see that this woman Aaliyah, was absolutely booked. Here's her mugshot. Um, Cuyahoga, Cuyahoga Sheriff's Department. So, I mean, they're super hesitant, but in connection, in everything, connecting the dots, but it does appear that this is the woman that they, are finding to be a person of interest. And hello, Michelle. I think it's interesting too what Valerie said. I think she wanted eyes on the area. Surprised they actually got her. Thought it, but she'd run if she saw any action. Yeah, I can see maybe a little bit of remorse. Yeah, I can see where you're saying that, Valerie. How maybe she was keeping them close in order to keep an eye on that area. I mean, she didn't do a good job of burying the suitcase whatsoever. And maybe she did a better job of the other suitcase. But again, with them just being right on that tree line, yeah, that's very interesting. Very interesting. So, let's see. Oh, there's just a little bit more of this that we'll listen to.
You at home may be trying to put two and two together or to connect the two. We just can't do that as of yet. We are waiting for the Cleveland Police Department to officially say that who the person was that they arrested. But we know in Cuyahoga County that was an individual that was 28 years old, and she was arrested and booked into the county jail on charges of murder and child endangering. The Cleveland police said they do expect charges to be filed this afternoon with the woman they took into custody. And when that happens, her name will be officially released by the Cleveland Police Department. We have gotten a name of a woman, 28 years old, that was released by the Cuyahoga County Sheriff's Department as someone who was arrested, also 28 years old, and arrested for murder and child endangering charges. When we have more on this, we will bring it to you. We are constantly bringing live updates here on our digital properties. And of course, when we start 3.5 hours of news and first alert weather on Channel 19.
Okay, so huge shout out to Channel 19. So it does appear that the girls, at least one of them, was in the suitcase. And was found in the fetal position. So I know that because it was reported that they only found, when the person unzipped the bag, that they only saw, a head in the bag. It does appear that from eyewitness accounts and police reports, things of that nature, that the girls were in there. It reminds me of poor little Harmony Montgomery being folded up and put into that duffel bag. It just depends on the size of a person, you know. Ugh, it's so sad. It's just so sad. Um, Let me see if we have any other new updates. I don't think we do, because I think that was the most recent one. Um, okay, maybe we have one more. 30 minutes ago. So let me make sure. Yeah, 30 minutes ago. So this has 44 views. Let's play this one really quick too. Um, okay, here we go.
News alert.
And we begin with breaking news now at 3:19 News has confirmed with a local law enforcement source that this woman, 28-year-old Aaliyah Henderson, is under arrest connected to the deaths of two young girls whose bodies were found this week in suitcases. The suitcases were buried in shallow graves near Ginn Academy on Cleveland's east side. A man walking his dog made the discovery. Thanks for joining us for Northeast Ohio's only News at 3 and streaming on 19 News Plus. I'm Nicole Versansky. Now at 3, Brittany Weir is live with the latest developments in this case, including new video of the moments leading up to that horrific discovery.
Yes, Nicole, 28-year-old Aaliyah Henderson is behind bars, arrested for murder and child endangering. This comes after the bodies of two young girls were found stuffed in suitcases and buried in shallow graves on Cleveland's east side near Ginn Academy. And now we have just received the body camera footage that shows the moments that officers arrived on scene.
A little shaking up right now.
Understood.
If you go, you can see the case from back here. It's all the way straight to the back.
This body camera footage.
Okay, guys, so they're not going to show the whole deal, right? And I understand that. And I'm going to take their word for it. But yeah, it is twisted. It's grotesque, demonic, in my opinion. And Detroit, I wouldn't doubt it. This could really be a possibility that maybe they were decomposing in the house and it started to smell, so they wanted to hurry up and get them out before it got worse. And a lot of that also makes me think about Harmony Montgomery. And it appears that the Ginn Academy is a high school. Because I just really quickly looked it up and this is what popped in. So Ginn Academy is a high school. And this is, they have their website, but that's 655 East 162nd Street in Cleveland, Ohio. So I mean, any one of these, bright young students could have found these poor babies, these poor little girls. So very sad. But it's just such a metropolitan area. And then again, a neighborhood surrounding. So I wanted to show you guys that as well. So, but yeah, I'm thinking that there's going to be so much more that's coming out, as the story unfolds, and as we see more. I also wanted to go ahead and really quickly, before we get off here, I would love to share Haley's Law with you guys and ask you all to please go over and sign the petition for Haley. Right. So this is Haley Busby. She went missing in the here, I'll just read her story to you guys. On January 5th, 2026, 17-year-old Haley Busby went missing from Fishers, Indiana. She was immediately classified as a runaway because there was no confirmed physical abduction on the Amber, and the Amber Alert was not issued. because she did not have a qualifying disability, a silver alert did not apply. But Haley didn't simply run away, she was lured. In today's digital world, a predator doesn't need a van or a public encounter. They only need a smartphone. Indiana's current alert system leaves a dangerous gap when someone goes missing under suspicious, unusual, or high risk circumstances that don't meet existing alert criteria. That gap can delay public awareness during the most critical hours. And that's what happened to Haley, guys. She was lured offline. She was groomed for a year and a half. And I just want to urge you guys to get this signed because I think we need it everywhere. I think it's not just Indiana. I think we need it everywhere. So please, please, please go and read up on this law. It's really asking for just the bare minimum, right? To pass Haley's law, pink alert, and mandated grooming awareness education in schools. So create a pink alert system for missing persons and children with credible risk indicators exist, even if the amber alert or silver alert criteria are not met. This would include timely public notification when disappearances involve unusual or concerning circumstances, right? Because we could have saw Haley out before this happened. And thank you, Chuchi. Thank you so much, Witchy Mama. Even in Hendersonville, newspaper can't get Sebastian's age right. If they, uh, I know if and when he went missing, it's pathetic. I know NorCal SoGal, that was like the big one, right? But then they're scolding us for putting out misinformation. It's like, oh gosh. And I'm grateful that they came out in order to spread the awareness, but it's very disappointing, isn't it? Very disappointing. So definitely go over, guys, and sign this, right? So a mandate is the second thing that they're looking for, right? Modern predator awareness education in Indiana schools focused on online grooming, digital manipulation, and coercive tactics used today. For decades, we've taught children stranger danger and warned them not to accept candy from someone in a van. While those lessons still matter, they no longer reflect the most common threats. Today's predators often pose as friends, peers, or mentors, reaching children through social media, gaming platforms, and online communities. Our laws, alerts, and education standards must reflect that reality. So pass Haley's law. We need a pink alert, right? This alert would activate when credible risk indicators exist, such as evidence of online grooming or predator contact, which can be identified right away, guys. That's something that can be identified right away by just looking at the phones, right? Getting access to the phones. Suspicious or coercive communications, sudden unexplained disappearance. This is bolded out, and I think it should be. Right? Exploitation or trafficking risk factors, credible threats or alarming digital activity, vulnerability due to age or circumstances. Now, look, this is a big one too, but I want to point out that even though we think of little children being trafficked, this beautiful young woman was 17 years old. 17. And she was desired by these weirdos. Still trafficked, sold. We have to do better because when we know better, we do better. So we know better, so we need to do better. And this is so well written. It does have to reflect the reality of the situation. And this could get so many more missing people and children out there for us to find them before something bad happens. So who would be notified? With the pink alert, notifications would be sent to people in the immediate geographic area where a person was last seen. This is huge. This is huge. For example, investigators could determine that an alert should be activated for a specific limited area determined by investigating agency. But I do want to point out here that Haley was brought to Ohio. So she went missing in Indiana, was brought to a different state. That's why this has turned into a federal case. So, I think maybe even an approach where multiple states surrounding, or any states that are surrounding the state of where the child has gone missing from, or person has gone missing from, should probably get those alerts as well. If investigators believed a missing person was traveling, alerts should be also extended along, right, the direction of travel. So we definitely need to do that. We definitely need to do that. So, you know, here's a statement from the Busby family. The Busby family is deeply grateful to the Fishers, Indiana Police Department, FBI Cincinnati, FBI Indianapolis, Columbus, Ohio, Division of Police, Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation, Hocking County Sheriff Office, Perry County Sheriff's Office, the U.S. Forest Service, because she was found in the forest, and all the partner agencies who worked tirelessly not only to find Haley Busby, but now to ensure she receives justice. Law enforcement in Haley's case acted appropriately and within the limits of the law available to them at the time. This is a big one, guys. They are held to a standard as well. They are definitely held to a standard as well. And that's right, Chuchi, as we found out yesterday. 13 years old is the limit, or the age that you have to be to have a Discord account. Haley was talking to this guy on Discord, 13 and over. In most states, it is a 2 or 3 hour drive across state lines, right? And that's not very far at all, especially if you're, driving, on a full tank of gas, you don't have to stop, something like that. And this is why Haley's Law should be passed. Haley's Law would give these same agencies additional tools to help locate missing children and persons while giving families real hope by improving the chances of safe recovery. This petition will be edited in the near future with additional details. The overall synopsis will remain the same. Media inquiries, please contact Megan Tomlinson with Silver Lining of Hope Incorporated. So sweet for them to do this. And, there's so many people that have already verified these signatures, right? Awesome. 441 people signed today. Let's get those numbers up, guys. Let's take the next step. 126,000 already agree that this would be a wonderful idea. Thank you guys so much for those pink hearts in the chat. Thank you so much, guys. So it just has to happen. Yeah, I know the access is that's the hardest part, right, Witchy? We had one cell phone for the kids to use, and it went with the car when they had it. Only one had her own phone, and that was due to CVD. Well, and I mean, and that's the thing. It's like limiting the access is, I think, a good idea, you know? I mean, because that's one way we could help. Oh, no, Witchy. Oh, that's weird. I wonder if Minnesota people can't sign it or something. That's weird, though. Huh. I'd like to sign it a billion times. No, I know that's not fair, but oh gosh, just looking at this beautiful young lady, just it just breaks my heart. It really does. I'm hoping that we can get the traction. I hope we could get this going in all 50 states. I think we need to put this pink alert to action, because if it's a situation where we just know that it wasn't someone who decided to run away, time is of the essence. So, oh, okay, verifying. Okay. Dang. Well, I hope that you guys all can take some time and sign this, and we can get it rolling as well. Um, I think I'm gonna go ahead and take off tonight so I can get a show ready for Saturday. I know that kind of sounds silly because it's a couple days, but I wanted to go ahead and try to figure out how we can because I want to do a panel on Saturday night, and so how we can have a couple of videos to watch because I haven't gotten a chance to go through all the footage. So, um, thank you, NorCalSo gal. Yeah. Oh, that's weird. Little Miss Sharon wouldn't let you sign either. Huh. That's strange because it's just let me do it. Well, I did it yesterday. Um, huh. Thank you, Sasha. Thank you, and thank you for the green hearts as well. So yeah, I will see you guys all tomorrow. We'll do a day show again and then a night show. But I think I need to take some time out and get the footage together and watch my own footage of the situation because I still haven't had a chance to go over and analyze that just yet. And every time we go over stuff, I mean, I find new things in there. Just like last night, I showed you guys again how the officer came up and hit one of the signs. I mean, who does that? I don't know. Not someone who has respect for themselves and others, in my opinion. The Amber Alert system needs to be overhauled across the country. I think so too, Nani. I think it would help tremendously. Thank you, little Miss Sharon. Thank you. Aw. Oh, thank you so very much, Witchy. And thank you guys for all your hard work mods and putting the links in the chat. I really appreciate that. Oh, wonderful. I'm glad you're enjoying them, Paige. I love being with you guys here too during the day. It's really fun. I like doing two shows, because there's so much stuff that comes out. And if I'm able to do two shows, I can cover so much more too. Just little stories or cases like Armor and Milla. I'm gonna have to make sure I'm saying her name right. Chapman. They deserve to be honored. The way that if their mother did that to them, the way that she put them in the suitcases and put them where they laid, they didn't deserve that. They deserve so much better than that. And how dare she do that? And we're gonna try to figure out what happened here. It seems like Channel News 19 is a good source to go to. I appreciate them not showing when the officers opened up the suitcase. So, um, my heart and prayers are with Armor and Mila's family. I hope that they can find some semblance of justice and peace for their loved ones. And just know that the girls will be in my thoughts and prayers. And again, big shout out to Detroit for bringing this story to us. And also just, for keeping me up to date too. And all my friends that do that. I really appreciate you guys sending me updates because it's hard to catch everything that's going on. So yeah, we can't let them ignore it. We can't. I also think if a child goes missing and it's been 12 hours, it should automatically be FBI in charge working with the local LE. I think that would be something that could absolutely be something moving forward that can be a part of the protocol because I mean they have more resources at their disposal. Aw, thank you, Chuchi. Yeah, for the Chapman girls. Um, oh gosh, yeah. So, and I want to find out a little bit more about their story and who they were as little people. You know what I mean? What did they like? Who were they? Um, and of course, my prayers go out to their sibling who is remaining. So I'm hoping that they have that little person in a safe place where they can actually have a peaceful night's sleep because thinking about how no matter what age, unless it's just a little bitty baby that doesn't know any better. I mean, again, I'm just wondering what that other child went through. Um, so, all right, guys. Well, I love you all so very much, and I will see you all tomorrow.